Alrighty, guys, we're here for another episode of the Rowdy Bros stream. We're going to hit you for sure with 15 through 1 on quarterbacks, and we'll see if we can get into the tight ends if we have time.
Yep.
Troy, do you have any thoughts on the rankings from last episode? Since I went through the rankings myself, I want to hear your thoughts on what they were, where I landed people, where you thought people should land, and if you like adjustments you'd make.
So for everyone listening, my perspectives are generally shaped from an off season of spending a lot of time drafting best ball teams. Goo is mostly coming from a redraft perspective. So your home leagues, your family, ESPN, Yahoo, all that kind of stuff. And these are two different games when it comes down to it. So what best ball cares about more is either consistent high floors or large potential to have spike weeks, or ideally a combination of both. Redrafters, it's not like you don't want points, but it's just a different consideration because a pick like Malik Willis is a way better start in best ball, or way better add on the roster, in my opinion, in best ball than redraft, because Malik can score 30 in a game, but how often is the Dolphins offense going to be successful throughout the season? Probably not. And so you wouldn't want to trust him week to week with a redraft roster, right? You have that quarterback, he's eating up a roster spot. Now, probably a fantastic stream and a good matchup, so you can plug and play with him. But I would have him ranked much higher in the best ball format because I know he's going to have 4 to 6 spike weeks, right? Like,
Okay.
So my general thoughts are going to be shaped by by those markets, Underdog, DraftKings, and Drafters, from all three of those game formats, and the different tournaments and such. But in short, you have some pretty fucking crazy rankings. So
Keep in mind it was 30 through 16. So those crazy rankings came at the back.
The names that ended up in 30 through 16 are what's absolutely insane. So you have,
when you hear the names 15 through 1, I don't think you'll be very surprised that 30 through 16 were who they were.
Well, hold on. So here's the two names that stand out amongst all these other rankings. Actually, there's 3 of them, but the 2 that stand out the most by far: Jackson Dart, ranked number 28. What the hell? Nobody has him that low. There's nobody that has him after Aaron Rodgers. It has him after the Cardinals starter. That has him after Bryce Young. This is primarily a running quarterback, 7 rush attempts a game last year, 40 yards on the ground. Oh, second only to Josh Allen, I believe, in rushing production, like a floor, right? Just rushing points a game, what you could rely on. And maybe he's going to run a little less this year with all the narrative about protecting his health, but this is still John Harbaugh. And I don't know. I could see, and then Matt Nagy, which is kind of gross. I could just see, and he's not a very good arm, right? You could just see him taking off a lot. So that consistent high floor probably for me puts him above Bryce Young, puts him behind someone like Baker. Maybe Baker's ceiling is higher to me than Jackson Dart's.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I agree with that.
But yeah, definitely above this Daniel Jones, CJ Stroud, all these guys you have. So here's 18. Let me.
You have him above CJ Stroud? With Stroud's offense and defense in system, you have Jackson Dart above CJ Stroud.
I actually don't like CJ Stroud a lot this year at all. I think he's a more talented player than he showed last year. I think these last 2 years though really haven't been great for him. I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen where we have your rankings up, and I'm trying to put mine more formally together. I was using last stream to kind of drill down where I felt through the conversation. By the end of this, we want to try and arrive either at a single one or at least 2 lists for everybody.
Right.
Let's see. Let's get these rankings up here. All right. So not the cleanest graphics by any means.
Yeah. So I was looking into it to see if there was anything that I would change around. And
if you
I mean, at
notice, I've
this
got the
point in
numbering
time,
wrong on here. So like
did you? It's okay. I mean, like I said,
I
the first
repeated
time
a
around,
number
I even
somewhere.
missed adding CJ
Okay.
Stroud to the list.
Yeah.
But I
So
knew
this
exactly
is not
what I wanted to do.
finalized draft by any
No,
stretch.
not in any way, shape, or form. I mean, keep in mind this is a way too early for a reason. You know what I mean?
Oh, I
Uh,
know exactly what you mean.
but I like for the people who are going to be drafting right now, you and I are pretty good at what we do. So, and we're coming from a different perspective on both sides.
Yep.
Uh, so I feel like people are going to have a lot to think about anyway.
We'll give them a lot to ponder in their free time. In fact,
Yeah,
we'll actually occupy their free time and unfree their time.
perhaps find a nice bridge or a nice mountain view if you are fortunate enough to live in such a place, and just ponder
Mm.
the information we give tonight.
Mm. And if you're short on those views, perhaps a nice pool or a pond
Even
uh,
just a front porch.
from porch, rocking chair,
Ooh, nice one.
glass of Arizona tea.
While you're doing your late night yoga.
Yep, and drafting a DraftKings best ball team for $3 million.
Well, just
Hashtag
pondering.
not a
You're not
sponsor
actually
yet.
doing it while you're doing yoga, because you're doing yoga to calm down from that nonsense.
Oh, actually, I do drafting to calm down from the yoga, the stress of yoga.
Oh, you're not doing yoga then.
That's why I'm constantly straightening out my shoulder in this seat with my terrible posture.
I don't think you're doing yoga.
Because I spend too much time calming down from yoga.
That doesn't sound like yoga to me, man.
I mean, you know, everybody lives their own truths, goo. And for me,
That's true, but objective truth does exist.
yeah, just like it's objectively true to say that yoga can be pretty stressful. And
It's not
drafting,
supposed
it's
to be.
also true for to say that drafting does relax me. It's an enjoyable activity. I love doing it. And so if yoga is stressful and drafting is restorative in that way, I
Well,
like to think that, you know, stretching my fingers and starring up some players and you know, stacking, I think that's pretty therapeutic when it comes down to it. So
well, there we have it.
and my brothers tell me I have a fight
Relaxation
and I just feel good.
for tonight. Relaxation. The name is rankings.
Relaxation rankings. Okay, so back on task here. The Jackson Dart ranking being 28 is you know, I think you have him like 10 spots at least too low.
Okay.
Malik Willis in redraft. I guess I have to agree with these rankings. I think the offensive line in Miami is a little better. And so there's a lot of appeal to me with a running quarterback primarily, but God, man, they gave him a 3-year contract. I just cannot see that offense being all that good all around. It's what has me really worried about Devon Achane, especially in the second round.
Right.
All world talent, number one potential, like the overall number one running back potential if he gets the workload and stays healthy.
Agreed.
But is he going to be involved the entire season? No, I don't think this team's going to take games that seriously. They barely did with McDaniel last year. I know there's a new coach coming in and everyone's going to be competing and there's a lot of new names. God,
He's playing for contracts though. Like
Malik's locked down on a 3-year deal. So that's what I'm saying. I think they might like rest him up by the end of the year. I think this team will fully have their foot off the gas by the end of the year. They
okay,
don't need
I
to
guess
play
I can
with an
see
elite
that.
quarterback, but they need receivers. They
What
like
if
if
they
they could
just
get Smith.
what if they're
Or,
like good?
do you honestly see the Jets being good? Or
The
sorry,
Dolphins.
the Dolphins being
But
good? And the same comment, the same joke and laugh tone for the Jets question, by the way. But yeah, do you see the Dolphins being good?
it's the AFC East where the only truly consistent team for the last 7 years has been the Bills.
So like if I'm
They could
trying to be
sneak in
fair to
and
both
win 9
sides,
games.
the Dolphins reloaded on a bit on defense, and like I said, the offensive line is actually much improved. The coach, I think it's Bobby Slowick is the offensive coordinator, and it was it one of the LaFleurs? No, or
I
I don't
wouldn't
know
know
who
off the top of my
the head
head.
coach is in the for Miami, but they're from the McShanahan tree. So modernized offense is kind of the sales pitch. Like if I'm trying to be fully bullish on them, and if and to anti your rankings point, if they are good, like what's Malik's floor here? 15 points a game. Is that not above Bryce Young? Like Bryce doesn't have the legs, and he barely throws 3 touchdowns in a spike week. You
I
know,
think the Panthers are going to look a little better than you're giving them credit for. But to
fair.
my point, I only think they're going to look 7 spots better.
So yeah, I mean, and I'm just trying to. We
Yeah.
have other rankings to get to today, but these
Yeah.
ones
Yeah.
stand out to me, right? So basically, the theme I'm noticing so far is that the rushing quarterbacks aren't as valuable to you as some of the more established, trusted names, and I think the trust factor is what's separating the best ball perspectives from the redraft. Sorry, I got super dry right now. One
Yeah.
moment.
Because in a redraft, you do kind of need somebody who you can rely on, who you feel is going to be a week to week starter, or who can be a week to week fill in when your starter may be injured or on
Unless
bye.
you're straight up streaming quarterback, but you do need to trust him at least enough
Yeah.
to start right and hit that spike. So,
You still got to
yeah, so it
trust
sends out Jackson
your
Dart, Malik
streams
Willis being
too.
at 28, 27 respectively, Kyler Murray being at 24. So this is something that super unpopular opinion as well. And best ball, by the way, all 3 of these guys are going much earlier. Malik Willis is like pick 120, so that's ahead of guys like Cam Ward, right around Baker
Yeah.
Mayfield, or is it going like 130?
I have noticed
Like
that.
10
And I've
spots ahead
honestly,
of where Goo has him. And then
right.
Kyler Murray's going like what round 9 or so, like pick 100. And
I think that's a
that's
mistake.
saying like this guy has the potential, and his receiving weapons, 2 of them go in the top 100. Justin Jefferson, of course, being in the first round. So they're basically saying the Vikings are going to be good this year, right? And Kevin O'Connell, again, a nod to the McShanahan coaching tree. It's everywhere.
Nick Shanahan?
Yeah, Sean McVay and then the Kyle Shanahan coaching
Oh,
tree.
okay. I was like,
So it all
why
stems. It
why do
all
you
stems. I'm
keep
finding more
saying that?
about this as I do more research and I listen to all these like more nuanced podcasts and fantasy football. The real nerdy
That's
stuff,
too
right?
easy. They should call it the Shanavay coaching tree.
Shanavay,
It's way cooler.
Shanavay, baby.
Yeah, they need to be better with that kind of stuff, man.
Yeah. So that like it stems back to this legendary coaching roster for the I believe the then Redskins, where I believe Shanahan was the head coach. Yeah, it's worth looking up actually because I've had this question for Shanahan coaching tree origin. I think it's his Redskins roster. And it was one that was competing for the Super Bowl in the 2000s. But let's see what I can find out. This is important and has implications for the league as a whole. Like the league views these guys, people who have studied under Shanahan, McVay, their coordinators, their position coaches. They view them with premium. These are a lot of the younger minds in the NFL, like the 30-year-olds who get the head coaching job, or the 30-year-old who
It
gets
means they're going to
the
shape the game for a long time, essentially. Yeah.
Yep.
It's akin to when Bill Belichick and Mike Tomlin came into the league. They set out these trends that people kind of were forced to follow to keep up.
Yep.
Or, forced to combat to keep up. Take the New York Giants route and just build up a super front 7 every 6-ish years. Give Tom Brady a run for his money.
You just have to have Eli Manning handling.
Shout out Eli Manning, David Tyree, and Mario Manningham. And then all the dudes that played defense for New York during those 2 years, they were insanely good.
My mouse picked a terrible time to crap the bed. So we're stuck on this screen for a minute if you want to take over and drive the research, or we can just get back to the rankings. I think I might have shared the spreadsheet with you last week.
Um,
If I didn't, then I'll just add the names later.
I think you did, but where would you have sent it? My
If
email?
you log into your Google Drive, you'll see a tab that says shared with me. And that's where you can find things that have been shared with you through Drive. Otherwise, check your email. It's probably emailed to you as a link. Don't forget to subscribe. Smash that motherfucking like button. Let's see it. Let's see those numbers, baby. Subscriptions, likes. Let's go.
I mean,
I'm working on expanding the channel here. Let's go.
Shit.
Friday, 12/10.
Shared with me. Betty.
It was a Friday night.
Mm,
I do not. About the time she walked away from me.
That's true. I didn't like you when you were 23. You were mean.
Nobody likes you when you're 23.
Well, only when you act like you're in freshman year.
Well, what's my age again anyways? What's my age again?
23. You said it already.
I'm feeling 22.
Brother. I love that song. It's awesome.
I don't know about you, but I'm feeling 22 personally.
Yeah, no, I don't have it.
All right. Let's see what well, can you just take over my screen share at least?
Well,
save the day.
I'll do this.
Yeah. Yo, Stacy, talk to me, baby.
Okay, do you know the rankings well enough to continue your recap on them?
Yeah, the most surprising names in short, this actually provides the best opportunity to have a short one-sentence statement. Jackson Dart, Malik Willis, 28-27, way too low in my opinion, and in most people's opinions. This is an extremely unique ranking that Goo is given, and if he's right, that's how you make a lot of money, fading names like this, and then prioritizing the other ones. The very last name, Kyler Murray, being at 24, people see such a ceiling with the Vikings offense where we're going with the McShanahan argument. That's Kevin O'Connell, probably the most successful OC from there outside of McVay and Shanahan themselves. So all that said, I think that Kyler probably should absolutely be going above names like CJ Stroud. To me, he's going to be going above someone like Jordan Love. Probably a Brown Purdy seems fair to me around Goff. Goff, I found out, by the way, the Lions had the easiest schedule. So we can see shades of the Patriots last year and Drake May's historic run.
I'm excited for Goff because he goes relatively low in drafts, and I can usually get him as just my QB2, and he might sneakily end up being my QB1 around week 4.
To me, him and Knicks are like the last barrier for a 300-point play at quarterback. Like they're the last, the two that you have to have at that stage. Anybody past that, you're looking at lower than 300.
At 280. Which is still, I mean, that's good in a redraft, especially. And then in DFS, that means there are going to be some 30-point, 35-point weeks. So it's not bad to end up in the 280 range for your QB1, both in streaming best ball or redrafts.
Yeah.
Especially if you have strong receivers and running backs. All right.
I'm going to see if I can maybe close out a program or two and reclaim my mouse.
Yeah, I was actually just about to see if you could work on that while
I just need a new laptop, man. This thing's like, I bought this before I went to grad school. So it was like 8 years ago.
Right.
I bought it. It's huge. It's got the 17-inch screen, which is awesome. It's touchscreen and it holds up. It's still running. And like we're streaming in high def here, right? Like, but it is it's a dinosaur. And it's now it's this usability issue. And then Windows Windows announced they're gonna stop supporting this PC because it's so old.
Nice.
Um, and yeah, so like I'll still get software updates and stuff, but any like troubleshooting, things like that, they're moving on. They're moving on without me.
You're out of luck. Good luck. Have fun.
Exactly. um, Jeez. So
The
this is more
trackpad doesn't
about
work.
how the system works, but I was looking for where it started.
Does the touch screen work well enough that you can navigate by just touching the screen?
The issue is I'm extending my display, so what you're looking at, or what we're looking at here, that's that's on the
Oh,
extended monitor.
your
But the
mouse
touch
is
screen is
moving.
yeah, it's do you see it disappearing on the screen?
Well, quick, take us back to the other place.
The rankings.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is a recap of 30 through
We're
15.
back, baby. We are back.
And here's
We
my
got the
stab,
rankings back.
bringing the rankings back.
All right.
So this is my
Uh
stab at
any
rankings
more
on this side.
thoughts?
No, I think this sums it up. Oh, hey, let me share this with you before I lose my let me not dox your email on stream.
Yeah, dock me up, brother.
Dox me up, bro. let
Need it.
me remove this from stage real quick.
Need that docs.
Dip and dox, bro.
Dip and docs.
Have you seen like the dot cake shit that's out there? The viral dot cake. It's as I kid you not, it's just cake with frosting and fucking
Uh,
sprinkles on top. And it's like there's like stand-ups, dessert places are now like serving it as menu items, like promo items.
doc cake.
And I don't get it. It's just colorful because there's sprinkles on top. Have we not had sprinkles on frosting before?
Are they like good sprinkles? Or are they like the shit ass sprinkles that taste like you're eating plastic?
Assuming they're the best sprinkles, who gives a shit? Like who gives a shit about the sprinkle? Like it's nicely uniformly, it's nicely
I
like
like
rainbow
when
colored.
you
It looks good.
sprinkle cookies onto a cake.
That's
That's a
much better
sprinkle.
sounding than whatever. By the way, you're tell me if you can't access the doc.
Oh, I'm sure I can.
Okay. I'll go back to sharing, and then if we get in trouble, we can test it out.
Yeah.
So this is 30 through 15. What stands out to you about these rankings? I
That
think here's
mine are
mine.
so much better than yours.
Yeah, that stands out to me as well. It's the first thing I noticed. Also, ignore these numbers. I've just been copying and pasting.
Oh
Copying
yeah,
and
these
pasting
are a
the rest
mess. Okay.
of it. Just don't count anything,
All right.
and we're fine.
So I guess just going by the Cardinals, it's a little surprising to me you've got them there. Because Jacoby Brissett actually played pretty well last year, and the offense as a whole took a step forward. And even if it's Carson Beck at some point in time throughout the season, I do believe that that level of production could be sustained to level him out at the higher 20s.
I think Jeremiah Love's going to get behind this team and push, and I think that without Drew Petzing there, the offense is probably going to take a step back, especially when Carson Beck takes over. I think they're playing for number one quarterback next year. Arch Manning is in the sights. I can just see this team not taking games very seriously for the latter half of the season, and thus the offense
Ooh,
not really doing much. That being said, if
I guess
you
if they're
could tell me
tanking.
Brissett was a starter all year, I could probably start him above Bryce Young for sure, but not above guys like Cam Ward, who I think is going to take a massive step forward this year and play meaningfully because they're competing, right? That coaching staff. needs to win. He needs to win.
Well, they could
Everything.
actually also just win the AFC South too. It's not
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
the all said and done division,
Yeah, in a way that the Cardinals can't be competing for the division, right? So that's what I mean. Like I wouldn't say Brissett.
Well, I don't know. The way that all these other teams are loading up, it seems like they're scared of the Cardinals.
And the direct counter to what I just said, like with certainty, the Cardinals will not be competing. Everyone thought the Seahawks last year were going to be total ass. Every single
Well,
analyst.
they thought that just because they brought in Darnold, but
The
nobody
offensive line.
expected
It
him
was the
to
offensive line. There was two narratives at once. They brought in
really.
Darnold, plus the offensive line was noted to be like one of the worst looking ones preseason.
But they're pretty good.
Like they were awesome. They were fucking awesome
they're
last year. And they didn't give Kubiak enough credit because, like, if you look at the last 4 years with Kubiak, and this is a nod to Tyler Shaw, who I also think you have really low at 26. Is another difference in our rankings here. Kubiak has produced 4 years of
You
like
have him at what,
consistent top 5
23?
offenses. Going back to New Orleans, where they were beating teams like the Philadelphia Eagles when they had Derek Carr in like week 4, and then Carr got injured or something, and then the whole season went to shit. But that's what's kind of marred Kubiak's genius over the last few years is his offenses always do great, but they never really get a chance to like shine. Even though we can't help but shine, right? Like Seahawks, how the fuck do you turn Sam Darnold with one receiver, like one legit receiving option, into that team last year?
Cooper Kupp exists. Tight ends were pretty good there too.
Cooper Kupp was a role player last year, and he acknowledged that. He was there
Well,
to
yeah,
catch those underneath.
but if your role player is Cooper Kupp, you're all right.
It's good to have a vet who can coach a guy, the room up a bit too,
And still give you 500 to 600 yards when you need it. Not in one game, obviously, but like
no,
that's a
be
reliable
awesome.
target.
Vintage Cooper Kupp game where Jackson Smith and Jigba just takes a back seat. It's like, yeah, go for it, old man. One last ride.
Gets 12 catches.
All the scheme
100.
stuff will go to Kupp because that's the thing about JSN last year is everything with the whole scheme was working just flawlessly together for a lot of those games. They were beating up teams too on defense, and so the offense was put in really good spots. That's something we know defenses can vary. I still think the Seahawks will be, among the league's best defense next year, but their running game's probably not going to be as good. Price is not Walker and Charbonnet together. He's still a rookie, even though I think he's very talented.
Yeah, we'll see on that one.
Better. Receivers should be better.
I do think that Jadarian Price is going to shock a lot of people, and he'll compete with Jordan Love.
I like them. Right, we talked about the eye test.
I think he's in such a good situation that I think he'll be super, super successful. And I think because Jeremiah Love is in such a hard situation, Arizona might shock a few people. I don't think they're going to win the division by any means, but 8 wins, not out of the realm of possibility. And Jeremiah Love being a huge part of those wins.
I don't give him 8 wins. They give him like 4. 4.5 would be like my line. I don't know what Vegas actually has it at, but I
guess it depends on, like you said, there could be a point in the season where they know that they're not going to make the playoffs, or they feel like they're not going to make the playoffs, and they may as well just like try to get draft positioning.
Yeah,
but I don't know. Like I said, they could shock a few people in the first few weeks of the season. They might be playing a little bit more meaningful football than people think they are.
So
by year's end.
Does any team other than the Jets have a more realistic path to getting Arch Manning next year, or the number 1 QB prospect, whoever that's going to be?
Give me the Raiders, and we're going to have the best QB battle of all
time. Excuse me.
No. I mean, the Jets could be in it. The Browns, depending on how they feel about Shador in the future, could be trying to get that.
Shador's so terrible, man. I'm sorry. I know you like him, but he's so bad.
There could be a point in time this season when the Panthers call it quits on Bryce Young if he's not performing. But if he performs the way that I feel like he's going to, I think the Panthers are going to want to keep him there. The
Oh,
Cardinals, depending on how they feel about Carson Beck by year's end, they'll probably want to look into it.
I'm torn on what to
Falcons
do with
too,
Caleb.
man. I could see the Falcons being a team that just tries to tank too.
They could use a restart at quarterback. I think maybe it's unfair to pull the plug on Penix so early. I think he flashed some, but I don't see.
I
I
like
don't see.
Penix. I thought he was going to be the best quarterback of his draft, and I did have to eat crow on that one. He has not panned out the way I thought he would.
Yeah, and almost nobody on that from the Washington team did. Like Jalen McMillan, Romo Dunze.
Well,
That
give Rome time. I think he had a really
I think
solid
Rome's
year
did
for a
too,
rookie.
but that foot
You know what
injury
I
really
mean?
worries
Like,
me. He was saying he's got this quote that's kind of gone everywhere. I think it may be a little overblown and misunderstood, but he's basically talking about from the athlete's perspective of having this foot, of his actual live perspective. I think he's just being honest in a way that athletes normally aren't about the impact of such extreme injuries. But he's basically saying his foot's the way it is now is the new normal is what he's saying, and he's got to get used to
oh
a
yeah,
different gait and running, and that's kind of worrisome, man. For
no, it's
I
not.
trust Odunze overcomes it because his work ethic and discipline. Um, he is a receiver's receiver. Like he's a technician, and he works really hard. He's super disciplined. He's always running routes,
Yeah,
working later than all these other guys, and so I think it'll work out for him too. Caleb's got to get more accurate consistently for him to hit a ceiling, but
yeah. I'm not super worried about the injury at all. When athletes say something like that, it's like when I tore my Achilles. It was kind of just like when I healed up. I just needed to get used to what it is now.
yeah,
Like my calf at this point in time is barely starting to look relatively like it was, and it's still substantially thinner than my right calf, which is my uninjured one. Um, but I'm still doing 51-inch box jumps, running sub 4.740s. Like it's not indicative that my body is not working. It's just I had to get used to how it is now. And to
yeah,
me, when a receiver says something like that, or when an athlete in general says something like that, it it just is what it is.
yeah,
But he's a very, very talented player, and his body's gonna work pretty well after the injury is all said and done. He's young.
yeah.
He's got good doctors. He'll be all right.
Again, I'm sidetracking us a lot here, but yeah. So that's kind of how I feel. I feel like you're undervaluing these running quarterbacks. Generally, I think
I
you
think
are
they're
very. I
overblown
think
is what it
these are really
is.
unique rankings for the industry, though. And so, like I said, if you're right, and you have some money in some way, in shape, and form on this, you're gonna get rewarded. That's for sure. Like
I
if you're
just
out
think the
on,
running aspect is overblown so much because everybody's like, "Oh, well, look at Lamar and Josh Allen," but Lamar and Josh Allen are like they're special.
yeah,
Just because a quarterback can run does not mean that they're going to produce the same results of the quarterbacks that came before them.
yep,
And I think because they're so good at what they do, and have them respectfully 1 and 2 in my rankings, I'm not going to tell you who's 1 or 2 yet. Got to wait for that. But I do think that because they do that, they're 1 and 2, but it's because they do it so well that they're that. I don't think these
yep,
other guys can do it nearly as well, nor do I think the offenses are built for them to be doing it as well either. So
yep.
I think when we're talking about it, and it looks like we have a lot of the same names. It's just kind of a bit shuffled.
Yeah,
Um,
and I mean, what's the difference in range here? So we tried to keep this column last time of projected points off on the right.
yeah. So within a
This
40-point range, yeah.
this applied to Goose rankings more than mine. Like I don't think Darnold. I think his floor is probably on the higher end of this 220 range. But I
Okay.
don't think his ceiling goes much higher. I think it's like right here. I think it's like 220 to 250. So I kind
Okay.
of
So
have
you would
him
have Darnold ranked a little
like a
above where
tier,
I'm at.
right?
Yeah.
So this is where we could probably do like tiers next time to kind of differentiate
Oh,
this.
hey, yeah.
That's what
Well,
this
as
is
we get
saying.
closer to the season, that'll probably be what we do. Like who you
Yeah.
want to target early rounds, who you want to look at mid, who you want to look at towards the end of drafts, stuff like that.
Yeah. I'm
And
with
then
you.
we'll do some DFSs as well because that'll probably help a lot.
I am so excited for some DFS lineups on the show. I cannot wait. We're gonna have props. We're gonna do props Sunday night. Get the early lines. You guys will be ahead of most of the market. It's something that we're pretty good at. So we're gonna make some fucking money like this
It'll be
season. I'm
fire.
excited, man.
My only problem with props is I tend to drop one too many legs on my parlay.
Yep.
So, and when I say
I
one
can
too
get
many,
you out
I
of
mean
prize
I'm
picks
literally
now.
like,
Now you sign up
yeah.
for no Goo and you have access to a straight betting book. You don't need parlays anymore.
Well, that's
It's
nice.
all peer to peer. So you're betting against other users. There's no book that has it. So and the way it works is Novig just collects like a fee from each thing. Instead of being the book that you bet against, it lets the market set the line.
Sounds like a pipeline to call him one of those hotlines.
Call it Hotline Bling.
1-800-GAMBLING.
Hey, have you see the meme where it's like two guys on the phone and then they bet on if the 1-800-gambling operator is going to be a male or a female? They bet like $100.
I did watch that. And it
Classic.
was a phenomenal video for sure.
Joy was had by all.
That being said, though, that is a good time to put that disclaimer in, though. If you do feel like you have a problem with gambling, please do seek professional help. It is not a problem.
Hey man, can you drive on the screen share? Because my mouse is dead again. I just need a new laptop at this point.
And you can still have
if I go on a payment plan, it's not going to be that bad. It'll be manageable. You know?
All right, let me see if I can do this.
I believe I can fly.
I don't believe I can fly at all.
I believe I can touch the sky. I think about it
full-on human being.
day. Spread my wings and fly away. I believe I can soar. I can soar. You don't want to pick up next line?
See me running through that open door.
I believe I can fly.
All right, so what I need to do is remove
I
this from
believe I can fly. I can fly.
What we want to do here.
All I wanted was some chicken wings.
All right, so what we're looking at right now.
Burger King.
Well, Troy gathers his thoughts. We are going to do rankings 15 through 1.
All right, so mine are already out there, so you can kind of jump the gun on the suspense for mine, and you can kind of see the other names around there.
Right.
But you
for those wondering why we're saying 15 through 1, it's because last week I messed up when I was doing my rankings. I didn't have CJ Stroud in them, so Troy had to add him later. So we have a repeat number somewhere.
Yeah, we'll clean the spreadsheet up. It's pretty terrible. It's also formatted terribly for a YouTube video. This is like honestly the worst shit that I'm producing out there. But fuck it, man. It's Friday at 12:30. Ain't no one formatting spreadsheets. I've been doing that shit all day. Like this is fine.
All right.
Wonderful. In fact, let's make it worse. Turn all the font to Comic Sans. Let's fucking put some red background with some orange text.
And for those wondering, that's why I'm in charge of the spreadsheet now.
This is why they did. It's not that my computer's too old or my mouse is freezing up. Someone's disabled my mouse, so I can't do this spreadsheet.
It has nothing to do with your erratic decisions on the spreadsheet.
It's because I was just singing about how I got shot by the FBI, and so now the FBI has taken over my mouse to prevent me from.
I'm glad
formatting my spreadsheet the way I need to.
All right. So, give me a solid second.
Did you forget the "I got shot by the FBI" version of that song existed?
All righty, guys. So we're going right into this number 15.
No way.
I got Jaden Daniels.
No way. You're just trying to be contrarian.
Shut up.
Jaden Daniels at 15.
I have never once
15?
tried to be a contrarian in my life. I call it like I see it, and this is what I sees.
You ain't no fortunate son. That's for sure.
Troy looks like he's got Jackson Dart in this range, but keep in mind, like I don't know how much I believe in the Washington offense is really my hesitancy on Daniels. I do believe in McLaurin to have a good season, but how much of that translates into Daniels having sustained success for 17 games, I don't know. As far as his pop weeks goes, he's got him with the best of them. So I may have to eat crow on this, but we will all see. And that's why I'm not trying to be a contrarian, because I'm more than willing to admit that I'm going to have to eat crow on a lot of this.
Yeah, but for QB 15,
I know Skip Bayless, Stephen A.
You're talking about a 600-yard rushing floor, 800 if things work out well, and he stays healthy, right? And who knows if he stays healthy?
We'll see. He was not impressive last year for obvious reasons. We will see
The
how he
offense was moving along just fine. He was at a good pace prior to getting injured.
Right. But that's what I mean. Statistically, he did not finish where a lot of people thought he was going to, and I'm holding it against him. We'll see how he bounces back. Like I said, this could be something I eat crow on. He could very well finish up in the top 5 to 10, but we'll see how it turns out.
He has number one overall potential scoring if everything worked out correctly.
I've got him at 15, which is a range, if we're looking at it on the spreadsheet, is around 250 with a ceiling of 300. So it's not like I'm throwing shade at Jaden Daniels. I do believe that he's going to play really well this year. I just don't know what it's going to look like with as much adversity as he had to face last year.
Here's another perspective in that he gets a lot of the goal line work. I think it was, if I'm not mistaken, I think it was 30%. And if you consider the running backs they have on their team, Rashad White, kind of like a sort of a, to me, like Kareem Hunt style, like short, he probably, except not as good of a short yardage goal line back, but just someone 3-4 yards when you need it, will catch that ball. Just not very fast or explosive. Ja'Cory Cross-Merritt, not really a goal line thumper, but though he profiles the best one on the team, other than Katron Allen, who is the bigger back, can easily take that role, but a rookie. And so with all these guys, Jaden Daniels just has a better rushing floor, rushing touchdown potential, and his ceiling, I think you're kind of low. I think it would sit somewhere between like 360, 380. I think he could be, especially because I don't think the Commanders' defense is going to be that great this coming year. There could just be a lot of shootouts, plus situations for the offense with a more than good enough quarterback, good enough receiving core.
So if you had to just place all that in a ball, where would you put Jaden Daniels instead? Or I can actually find out. We have it on the spreadsheet, I think.
Yep. I think he's going to sit somewhere between like top 8.
1, 2, 3. You have all these numbers messed up, so I got to count differently.
Nobody look at no numbers.
5,
just
6.
Just look at the names.
Yeah, Troy's numbers mean nothing. In fact, let me see if I can.
Nice. My prep time for this stream was like 5 minutes before the show, and you're lucky I put this list together, even because I just remembered to do it.
That's beautiful. I love it.
Yeah,
the honesty and the fact that you got it done.
Thank you.
For those who don't know, the Rowdy family are world-class procrastinators.
Hey.
All right, so Troy has Jaden Daniels finishing in the top 7, it looks like. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He's got him finishing 6th. Fuck me. He's got that potential for sure. Like I'm not going to take that away from him, but I am holding the injury against him. The injuries against him, I guess. Just want to see how it works out.
Potential's off the charts. This could easily be RG4. Right.
I don't think it'll be that bad because that was awful, but we'll see. We'll see how it turns out. Alrighty, guys, getting back into it. Number 14. Um, Jesus, where do you even have this guy? Okay, I got Sam Darnold.
Okay, yeah, that's crazy. You have Jaden Daniels going behind Sam Darnold. Man,
Shut
your
up! It's
rankings are
because
off
Sam
the
Darnold's
chart.
awesome.
All right, I want to
That's my
say
only
how you
defense.
view. Say you want to give his overlook.
I give no defense other than he's awesome. But to give the quick overview on Sam Darnold, he's got, other than CJ Stroud, he's got maybe the best offensive makeup in the NFL, from top to bottom on the roster. Coming off a Super Bowl win, I do believe that they're going to be out for blood. We're going to see Seattle, the sequel, lost to New York.
Sequel in Seattle
Seattle
with Tom
2.
Hanks and Meg Ryan.
Seattle 2. We're back, but for blood.
They drew first blood, not me.
They did last year, and they'll draw second blood because they're that good.
Is
I
it coming
don't
back
know.
for
They're
more blood?
definitely on the repeat watch list. Hasn't been done in a while, but hopefully I mean, if there is one team to do it, they're as likable as anybody.
Yeah,
And if Dallas isn't there, I do like to see them win.
yeah. I liked them winning last year.
Yeah, they're good stuff.
It made me a bunch of money.
I hope you bet on Kenny Walker as Super Bowl MVP, like I told you to.
I didn't have Walker MVP. That was one bet I missed out on. I did have Walker as captain in a few DraftKings lineups, and he was a central
I
part of
sent
my
that to
playoff
you
best ball.
40,000 times. I could not have been
Well, I
more
listened.
clear
I
that
listened. I did it.
Kenny
I did
Walk
it.
him
I
down
didn't have all the
Walker was
pieces.
going to be the MVP. It was just the writing was on the wall. It wasn't even
I
close
won
to.
for the DraftKings lineups that day. I won
Yeah.
$1,000. In one lineup, I placed third in like a $9 tournament or something. So that was
Okay.
a DFS
So
alone. And
so I
then
did help you.
the rest of it, I won like $8,000 that day between playoff best ball, between DFS, between all of it. It was an
Okay.
amazing day. It was
In
incredible.
short,
So, yeah,
Troy's pretty good
listen
at
to
this
Goo.
shit.
In short,
And
listen
listen
to
to Goo. Troy listened to Goo, which means Troy's pretty good at this shit. All right, everybody.
I've been watching a lot more Rick and Morty too. I'm like halfway through the first season.
Oh, dude, it's amazing.
Yeah, I'm
It's
starting to see what everybody's been talking about. I
it's
always
such
do
a
this,
lovely
man.
show.
I always get into popular things way too late, but you only have so much time.
Well, that's okay actually, because you get to watch it removed from everybody else's voice on, like, everybody else's commentary on the show.
Yeah,
Like, you get to form your own opinion on it, and, like, I mean, it's a little bit more enjoyable, to be honest.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, man, it's a lovely show. And the further on the seasons get, the more random and, like, non-connected the episodes get. So
yeah.
they get to explore a lot of just the other characters via, well, you'll see. You'll have fun. It'll be a good time.
Yep. All right,
All
so
right,
I
everybody.
agree with your general outlook on Sam Darnold. I have him around the same. I think somewhere.
You got him a
This whole
few
range,
spots back.
yeah, this whole range between
Right.
Goff downward. I think these are all guys who score somewhere between 300 and 260 points.
Troy, what is this over here? Is this the general ranking, like the standard rankings for?
Oh, that was some generated list I found to just give me all the names of quarterbacks.
Oh, okay, gotcha. All right, cool.
So yeah, you just
That's
delete
fine.
that column. It can't help us anymore. But
Um,
it did surface a name like CJ Stroud, right? That we overlooked. So
what have I done? It didn't work. All right, that's fine.
Control
I'll
Z.
get back to it later.
Yeah.
This is
So
when all
yeah,
those
I'm right there with you
stupid
on
tech
Sam
classes
Darnold.
in high school.
And
All right.
from like a redraft perspective, where you need to trust one of these guys. Let's say you waited on quarterback to the
Yeah.
end of your draft, and you
Oh, yeah.
picked up one or two of these dudes, or you just plan on streaming them. I think almost any given week, you could plug in Jared Goff, Brock Purdy, Jackson Dart, Bo Nix, Kyler Murray, Baker, or Jordan Love, any given week because they all
All of
have
these
3 to 4
guys.
touchdown potential. They all have top 5 QB potential in any given week. And I think they're going to give you that a decent amount of time throughout the season. And most importantly, what I want everyone to understand about this group of quarterbacks is that they're very interchangeable. There's not
Yeah,
much
yeah.
of a floor ceiling combination difference between any of these guys. Kyler Murray, Goo would beg to differ on, and
He's
I
gonna
get the
have a
thing,
few ceiling weeks. Like I'm not gonna just say that he's gonna go out and just blow a monster, but like he's gonna have a few. He's not.
and that's why
He's
he's
gonna be
higher for me from a
24.
best ball perspective. But
But
I do think he's also more reliable than you're giving him credit for. So to me, he's included in this group. But let's say you include him or not. My overall point here is that with all of these guys, again from Stafford to about Love, we're gonna have the same, I think, trustability in their ability to deliver a top 5 potential, and certainly finish like top like 15 through 10, but without a lot of difference between the 15th and the 10th guy. So you're not losing much, is what I'm trying to say. At the end of the day, which means don't prioritize any of those guys. If you're already waiting for quarterback, just wait for quarterback. Like just wait to
yeah,
the end of the draft because any given week you can pick up one of these dudes and they all have 20-25 point potential with a 15 to 20 point floor for
on
the
an any
most part.
given week
Each of these
basis. Yeah.
guys will throw 2 touchdowns, 250 yards for the most part every week in, week out. They will have ceilings beyond that, and they're going to have some bad games. Like Jared Goff last year got to play 14 games outdoor or indoors. He doesn't have that luxury this year, but he does have the easiest schedule on paper, right? So there's going to be some mix of his 2 track records of the Lions beating the shit out of bad teams, meshing against Jared Goff outdoors. Even that goes in from a best ball perspective, that goes into the fantasy playoffs as well. He's outdoors against the Bears in Chicago week 17, which sounds like a pretty terrible place for Jared Goff to be on Soldier Field when
It'll be fun.
in the middle of December, so or like toward Christmas. So that's
Statistically
my
speaking, yeah,
thoughts on this
bad.
whole range. Like Darnold, all these guys, like 15-20 point you can expect a given week. Just wait from a redraft perspective. But in best ball, all phenomenal picks as well, because each of them can be the QB, top 5 QB on the week, if not QB1 overall.
On any given week, yeah, agreed.
Yeah. You share the same sentiment pretty much about all these guys from like I imagine it's pretty upward for you. I don't know. Do you have CJ Stroud and Daniel Jones in that class of guys?
I yeah, like I said, so my list broadens a little bit. You mentioned ranks 15 through 10. I think you're gonna get 10 through 20 all with that. Um, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah. Yeah, your 10 through 20 is gonna be about all the same to you?
all interchangeable. I do believe that they're range. Well, that's not true. I think really at no. Yeah, that is true. 10 through 20, I think they all have the same floor. Although I do think as you get 15 through 10, the ceilings get like substantially higher.
So who do you got next? I'm trying to guess, and I'm based off the guys you picked so far, I think you've got what, Stafford next?
No, you're
Shit.
not even close on Stafford, to be honest.
Fuck. Then Goff?
Yeah, it is Goff.
Okay, okay.
What
I
is
the
the
profile the profile I was
wait? What
looking
is
at
the
was like
under?
pocket passer, somewhere in about Sam Darnold, but just like on a slightly better offense. Like that's how you would rank it, like to me. So someone
Sam
comparable but
Darnold
slightly better.
on a slightly better offense.
Yeah. So Goff, I think, is gonna have like 300 points, and Darnold's gonna have like 260 to 280, in my opinion, right? So they'll be like right there and get there the same exact way. No rushing potential.
Oh,
Like that. It's all just pocket passing.
so in case anybody's watching this back and wondering what's happening with the numbers here, essentially what happened last week again.
Dude, just put.
I gave Troy false
If my
numbers.
mouse was working, I'd have this reordered already. This
You're
is
fine,
insane.
but I need to
Look,
explain this in case people do watch. So like, what the fuck is
dude,
going
just
on
open
here?
up Gemini or another AI, feed this thing, and tell it to fix the numbers and give us a new spreadsheet,
No, I
or find
do
a way to
no
reorder it.
AI. I'm so anti AI. I do everything by hand as I
Uh,
can. If it's there, it's there, but I do not use it
I
if
could
I
have
can avoid
manually
it.
retyped this too if I could just.
Well, that's fine. I'll manually retype it because I have the time and I have a working mouse. We're good.
Yeah,
Now, getting into it, we do agree on the next pick. It's Jared Goff. We have him ranked exactly the same spot.
fake
Or do
14.
you want to give the other overview on why Jared Goff is actually pretty good in this range? Or
I made a lot of the points already, but it's
okay,
also a lot of obvious stuff that we know. So from a overall systemic perspective, the Lions welcome Drew Petzing in as offensive coordinator. This is a guy who made Trey McBride stand out. His calling card's kind of like the offense funnels through the tight end. That could be very good for someone like Sam Laporta next year. Of course, Dan Campbell, tight end fanatic and lover of Sam Laporta. Now, Campbell forced Jamison Williams to be a thing last year. Actually, fired the OC they started the year with because he wasn't using him as much. And that means Jamison Williams is going to be very involved. And then all of those names are besides the two heavy hitters on the team, the heaviest hitters, right? Amon-Ra St. Brown at receiver and Jahmyr Gibbs. Um, they're going to be a phenomenal offense, and they play against the weakest projected schedule at this point in time. There's a lot in favor of Jared Goff. I mentioned the best ball perspectives here too, or best ball specific perspectives, where week 17 and week 16 and 15 are the playoffs. All the money's at the top of these tournaments, like the best ball Millie Maker on DraftKings or the best ball Mania tournament for Underdog. All the money's at the top week 17. You got to beat 1,000 teams to win $3 million. And to do that, you need an absolute ceiling. So the idea is you find the games that are best on paper for week 17. And lo and behold, we have a phenomenal one matchup on paper offensively between the Lions and the Bears. That's great. Two teams could push each other 30, 40 points easy, no problem. As good as their defenses could be last year if they were both healthy. But it's outdoors in Soldier Field, week
right?
17, and it's Jared Goff. And I know that's like a narrative, but the dude really cannot play outdoors in general, and especially not when the cold. It really worries me. I don't think the Bears defense is going to be able to like put the foot on the throat and keep him down. But
Okay.
it worries me from a week 17 perspective, even though all of the other bullish points I just mentioned. I think I like where the new offense is going to go. I think it's going to go through Goff and Gibbs is still an asset in through the air. So it's not necessarily bad for Goff either. I'm just excited for him next year, man. Goff could really be in the top 10, but I think just because he doesn't rush, and a lot of these other quarterbacks that we'll see in the top 10 are going to have a leg component with all the same or better offensive situations that really separates Goff from the next like tier. I think Goff somewhere about 300 fantasy points, 260 as the floor. Nobody gets hurt kind of thing. But 300, 320 is the ceiling, not much beyond it. Whereas anybody with legs, including Kyler, can easily get to like 340 or 360 just because of the rushing components added
Assuming
on.
all goes right, yeah.
Yeah, and with this list, I'm assuming full health because at the end of the day, you don't fucking know like who's
No,
gonna
but
get
are you
injured or
assuming
not.
full talent?
Yeah, yeah, of course. Full talent and the ability to
How did
deliver
that
on it. No,
link?
I'm not. That's where I'm applying my takes. But that's the thing is like if I'm doing the research on the teams, the coaches, the situations, if I'm looking as far ahead as weeks 15, 16, 17, weighing those matchups, looking at the offensive line PFF grades, yeah, you bet I'm gonna influence my my take a little bit, not assume everybody full talent because if it was like full talent, like fuck, like Mahomes is QB1, Josh Allen's QB1, Lamar's QB1. Like all
Yeah,
those
it's
guys are
yeah.
equal QB1s. Herbert, I would add
God,
somewhere around there. Um, and I guess our list looks like that, anyways. But like Dak would probably go unquestionably above Caleb and Trevor at this point in both of their careers.
Right.
Dak's probably he can't be above Jaden because of the rushing floor, unfortunately. I don't know. We'll get into it as we go. But yeah, so I'm assuming full deliverability of health and of full seasons, but I
Right.
don't think I don't think talent is what I'm weighing. I think I weigh the team situation more than that, and then I think I weigh talent as compared to who else is on their team, like the roster makeup and the defense. Also, like a great defense will hurt you a lot. People don't talk about that as much.
Like be playing with a great defense will hurt you a lot.
Yeah, like pretend we see it with Mahomes the last 3 years. Like we already saw this story. If your defense can just to use the same term as before, like keep the foot on the throat of the offense, the opposing offense, all you're going to want to do is run the ball because all you need is 14 points to win the game.
Are you attributing the struggles of Mahomes and the Chiefs offense to the defense and not the lack of talent at pass catcher?
I saw Mahomes get it done with some pretty shady receivers, right? I don't think Mahomes, if he was inclined to throw 30 times or to throw 50 times a game, the way that Brissett was forced to last year, I think Mahomes' numbers would be better than Brissett's throwing 50 times a game, regardless of who he was throwing to, just over that sample size.
You think he's
He
going to
would
have to
better
throw
numbers.
50 times with the addition of Kenny Walker?
I'm saying if he was playing with the Cardinals defense, he would last year. That's precisely what
I
I'm
see.
talking about here.
Gotcha.
Yeah. It's the situations the team finds themselves in week in, week out. That's exactly why Michael Wilson and Brissett were so valuable last year, and McBride. They found themselves always down every week with terrible defense, so they'd always have to throw like a million times. Brissett set franchise records last year for how many times he dropped that, like NFL records, I think.
Yeah, I see where you're
So
coming
playing with Steve Spagnuolo as defensive coordinator and fucking Chris Jones up front with two of the top cornerbacks in the league does not help your offense because you can win with just 14 points. Hey, we actually have
I don't think that's going to be the
here.
case for them this year.
Hey, Goo, we got a comment. Want
Do we
to
really?
weigh your opinion on it? So this is for a dynasty perspective, which to be fair, Spawn Peak. We don't, neither of us play Dynasty, though I listen to a bunch of Dynasty content. It's stuff I'm very familiar with.
I'm actually a huge fan of the format, to be honest, but yeah, I don't dabble in it very much either. But
so I guess one question, Spawn Peak, if you could let us know, is this a super flex league? I don't know why you'd have two quarterbacks on your roster unless in your league it's just you have that many bench spots.
Well, you need two quarterbacks on the roster. We've already talked about why you would need that in just regular week-to-week formats. You have bye weeks and injuries. And
if I had Josh Allen, I wouldn't roster another quarterback, for example, unless it's like super flex. Depends on how many roster spots you have.
I see where you're going with that, but you're not right.
Well, let's just assume. Let's assume league rules so we can answer his question. So,
I'm gonna guess that you need a second quarterback for bye weeks and injuries, and that's just smart to have one. And if it's a deep league like a 12-team league, then you absolutely need to have a solidified number 2 quarterback and not streaming options.
So you're saying he should keep his 3 quarterbacks, Kyler?
Give me a second. It's 2026 second and 2028 second.
Yeah,
there you go. 2 for the bye week.
Saying no super flex, but you need at least 2 for the bye week.
Like I said, 2 for the bye week. All right, 2026 second, 2028 second, and Darnell Mooney for Kyler Murray, and you already have T-Law and Caleb Williams. I guess it would depend on the receiver situation, but honestly, that seems like you're making out like a bandit because you got T-Law and Caleb Williams already.
Yeah.
I would say make the trade, in my personal opinion, to be honest.
There's a couple of aspects to this, Spawn Peak.
But I guess it depends on if you believe Kyler Murray is going to pan out. So Troy does believe that Kyler Murray is going to play pretty well. And if that lasts over the span of a few seasons, you may not want to miss out on that. But I think with Lawrence and Williams, you're going to get production.
Yeah, Spawn.
Agreed. You would be doing it for the picks.
I 100% agree. You don't need him on your roster, right? But who else needs Kyler as much as you? And if the hype is real around him, let's wait for some training.
Oh,
Like, when is your
yeah, maybe
draft?
you could get
Wait for some
a
training
better
camp
trade
news,
on.
dude. Wait for this.
Yeah.
Wait for the hype of Justin Jefferson training camp videos where he's like mossing quarterbacks and Kyler looks dope rolling out the pocket against like,
We
shit
can
summer
sell
defense.
high, you know what I mean? Like, you may be able to
Yeah.
turn those second round picks into first round picks instead. Now, the downside is if he comes out flat, you're going to lose all value.
Yeah.
So I guess the hype would be what you're trying to buy. So you want to sell in the off season, but not too late.
I think to be fair, I think you're gonna get nothing but good news out of Vikings camp. I don't think you're getting any bad news about Kyler. I think his value should rise, in other words, as time goes on the summer.
That being said,
Totally
this
depends.
is good value right now too, though. Especially
Well,
for a
that was
dynasty,
the other thing
second
I was
round
gonna
picks
say.
are valuable.
So from a dynasty perspective, like, let's evaluate, like, what are those future picks worth? What is a 2026 second round pick worth this year? Universally speaking, there's
Well,
not a high opinion held about these rookies this year. So what is that 2026 second actually worth? Like, what are you going to turn it into?
a
Is it the first pick of
2026
the second
second
round?
round pick would be like George Pickens.
If it's the first pick of the second round, like, that's different than the last pick too, right?
But
And are we
it
talking
would
about
be like,
rookie drafts here
but that's
only,
what I'm talking about. It
or
would be like George
yeah.
Pickens, or well, I guess you're only drafting rookies, huh? Never mind.
Yeah, is that
Um,
Spawn? Is it a rookie draft only, or do you get like, is it a keeper league where you keep like 4 players or something and then redraft everyone else?
I don't know. There's a lot of aspects. But that
Yeah,
being
that's what
said,
I'm
dude, this
saying.
is
You
really,
gotta weigh
really
out
good
that full
value
value.
for a quarterback that you absolutely don't need on your team right now.
Yeah, and to be clear, he's the one to get rid of, right? He's got all the hype, and he could absolutely go wrong.
And
And
come out
also,
flat.
he's not as
Yeah,
good as
rookies
Trevor
only.
Lawrence
Okay,
or
yeah, good
Caleb.
call. Rookies only.
And then
Um,
last question here, Spawn. Is it a second? Are these second round picks like the first, second, third, fourth? Where do you pick? First or last in the round? Like, where does it fall? Because
well,
this
it
year
depends on
especially,
draft
it's
positioning,
top
doesn't
heavy.
it?
Like,
Like, you
for
gotta
example, the top
play
6
out the
receiving
season.
prospects are considered so much better
Yeah.
than everyone else after them, right? So if you pick earlier in the second round, that to me is like much more valuable than the end of the second round even,
Third
during
and
the second
second
round.
round. Ooh,
And
that's
it's
pretty
like a
nice.
8 or 12 team league, right? That matters here too, but
Well, yeah, but either way, the third pick is pretty nice.
yeah, early in the second round. So 2 early second rounders for a person you don't need. And I'll tell you straight, Darnell Mooney to me is fluff. Like, they're just trying to throw someone in. So if you do get a counter
It
offer,
does
maybe
seem
try
like
and
that. Huh?
upgrade that piece if nothing else. Because he's
I was
not
gonna
going to
say
help you.
maybe bundle the picks for one first, but nah,
This
I like
year,
it.
if you could turn that into 2026 first for a quarterback you don't need, dude, fuck yeah. Like,
But
that's
yeah, but
smash.
that's
Like,
you also don't want to just lose the trade either. But there's haggling and then there's just like demanding nonsense back, you know?
it's dynasty though. If you're not in the league where your dynasty mates are haggling and involved and like trying to, because how that league is won and lost, yeah, there's getting lucky with your rookie draft, like just landing on the right guy. But really it's about marshaling for picks, you know? He's willing to give
Oh,
up
okay,
second.
gotcha. So he's actually trying to well, fuck, do you think maybe you could leverage that for a little more? Because if he really, really wants that stack for the next few seasons, you could maybe turn those into first round picks. But if you're saying he's only willing to go second round picks, maybe he's already like, well, maybe he's just saying that.
So I think Goo and I are at least agreed in trade Kyler Murray because he doesn't help your team today,
This
but he
is good
is a
value though.
valuable asset that
Like,
may appreciate over time. He may be able to get more.
especially the third pick in the second round, you'll probably be drafting somebody who's going to have really good potential for years to come.
Yeah, if this is an eight team league and
Well,
it's
anywhere
rookies
between
only,
8 to 12, anywhere between 8 to 12, you're going to be getting
yeah.
in the second round. You'll have opportunities to get like future Cooper Cup type guys.
Yeah, but it falls off even at the back of the second, man. It's so top heavy
Well,
this year.
it looks like that, but you got to remember that sometimes third round picks hit. Sometimes a sixth
You're right.
round pick turns into the GOAT. Like
You're right.
it just happens sometimes.
Yeah.
So a second round pick, on average, you're going to end up with somebody who's going to be a pretty consistent part of the offense for a lot of years to come.
Yeah.
Like I said, this is pretty good value for a quarterback that you don't really need on your roster, but it is value for him to get back. Maybe there could be a better leverage if there's a better receiver that you want from him.
Yep.
Or if you
Agreed.
want to combine those picks for a first round pick next year or 2028. But I do overall like the idea of this trade for sure.
Yep. Yeah, I don't have much more to add to it. Spawn, let us know if you have any more questions. We're happy to scrap the rankings talk just to talk about your roster, whatever the fuck.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah. But yeah, let's get into the next quarterback at least for now, and then we'll
All right.
see if there's anything else. Yeah.
Cool. So sticking with this, we're gonna go into number 12. Troy has Matthew Stafford ranked there. I don't agree with that at all, and I'll get into my thoughts later on in my rankings on why I don't think Matthew Stafford finishes 12th. But myself, I have Patrick Mahomes.
What?
Don't what me. He's
What?
coming off a torn ACL. He may not even play the whole season. You got to remember, you're doing this for DFS best ball, all this stuff like that. You're ranking him higher based on
Mahomes averaged the highest points per game last year. That's
you're
a great
basing it on what
redraft
his
pick.
ceiling weeks are, and I get that, but he may not even play the whole season.
I am coming from the perspective that he will play the whole season. Here's a couple reasons why. One, every report has him participating in all the voluntaries, showing up for rehab. There's no report out there suggesting that he will not play week 1. In other words,
He's still got a questionable next to his name on every draft.
How I know he plays week 1. The NFL, when they made their schedule, put the Broncos Chiefs as I think the opening kickoff game this year. It's week 1, Thursday Night Football or something like that, or Monday Night Football. It's week 1 to Monday Night Football, I want to say. So the NFL put that game on, and they're not gonna have fucking Justin Fields playing that game on the first Monday Night Football of the season. They're just not.
See.
You bet their ass.
They're
on the phone.
I know what you think.
On the phone with Reed. Hey, what's going on? Is he going to play or not? You bet your ass. And then week 2 is also another big game.
You have
Mahomes
ranked number 4, so you'll get a chance to talk about him later. Right now, it's my turn to talk about Mahomes because this is where I have him ranked.
Why does Mahomes
You get to talk about Matthew Stafford right now because that's where you have him ranked. We got to stay on target. This is my time with Mahomes and your time with Stafford.
Go ahead. Go for it. Go for
Mahomes. Right. Now, coming from an entire season-long perspective, even if Mahomes does play a full 17, what does week 1 through 5 look like while he's readjusting from a torn ACL, right? Like, that's a big injury to take late in the season. And he's going to have a few games where he needs to readjust to what the game is. Couple that with the fact that I do not think Kansas City has a stellar, pass-catching core. I think Kenneth Walker is an amazing addition to the team, and I do think that everybody they have in system is they have exciting potential. But it's only because they're working with Mahomes that I'm excited about their potential, if that makes sense. If it was Justin Fields in the offense, I would fade every single person not named Kenneth Walker or Justin Fields because he's going to be running for 100 yards a game. That being said, if he does play full 17 and looks the way that he has looked in the past, I'm going to eat some fucking crow on this one because it's Patrick Mahomes. And he's the best quarterback of our generation. Not even close to GOAT, but he's on the way there if he can reignite another dynasty. You feel me? If he can do it again for another 10 years, then Mahomes has his hat in the race for real, for real.
So if I look at my rankings of the next 8 guys, I can easily see Mahomes finishing behind all of these names, including Stafford. knowing
Right.
what the Rams are going to be next year, knowing that that defense is going to like put some opposing teams in bad spots, and Stafford is going to just be collecting printing touchdowns next year. They're absolutely loaded in their tight end scheme. The receivers are coming back. It's going to be a great team. Corum another year advanced.
Agreed.
I think Stafford could easily finish top 5 quarterbacks, and I think he had like what 380 points last year or something.
Yeah.
I could just see them repeating all the
I
same
think he was the
stats.
number one
Plus,
quarterback too.
yeah, you could just see it, man. You could really see it, and I'm guessing based off your reactions to where I have him, you have him much higher. Then again,
A lot higher. Yeah, Matt Stafford, I got him a lot higher, but I'll get into that.
yeah, I think all these, like I'm saying, all these names are interchangeable. I'm lower on Drake May than the next guy on my list. I could see him finishing past all here too,
So
but yeah.
I do agree with you that we do need to do a tiers because I think that'll be a little bit more beneficial.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah. Because
but
we
I
would
do.
say all these guys, you could draft them around each other or just
That's
wait because
exactly
they're all
right. If
equivalent. Yeah.
you end up in the same range with any, like if you start to see Patty Mahomes go off the board and you want to get somebody, start getting Jared Goff, Sam Darnold, because that's about where he's going in drafts. Well, he's actually going a little after because of the injury. People are a little scared.
Yeah.
But I think he's going to do really, really well. And but that being said, if he does his normal shit, I'm going to have to eat crow for placing him 12th. He'll finish top 5.
I just
It'll be
think the
good stuff.
offense is going to take a huge step forward this year, and I don't think the defense is going to be nearly as good. So I'm really excited for Patrick Mahomes. Also, I think the way last season ended was just outright frustrating for them,
Right.
in the way that he's not used to losing the way they were.
Okay.
And I think he's got a lot to prove because I think the league is moving on from the Chiefs. And it's been that way for a little while. Like their core has been rusting with age. Their roster has turned into one of the oldest overall. And yeah, the Kenneth Walker is a sign of life, but the defense didn't get any better than last year.
Well, he got younger, which
Not
could
better.
mean better because we don't know what these guys are going to do.
It's Spags, right? So still going to be good,
Right.
but I
But
don't
they
think
still
they're
got
going to be
like
suffocating teams the way they were
4 new defenders,
these past few
young
years.
dudes. Could be good.
Yeah,
Could be
maybe
really
I'm
good.
wrong about that, but I think Mahomes will have more opportunities to throw and more motivation. No, their receiving core has not gotten better. Another year older, Kelsey. They refused to play Noah Gray after he was pretty good from like 2 years ago. I don't know what happened there. Worthy isn't it, in my opinion, but I think he will be a lot better than he was last year.
Agreed.
And they added one name at receiver, who there's been like positive reports about, but he's like a 7th round pick or something. He's like a nobody. We'll see, man. I just think it's pretty damn bold to have Patrick Mahomes at 12. But honestly, like looking at these rankings and the names ahead, I like Jalen Hurts better than Mahomes this year. I like Dak Prescott.
That's what I'm saying. Like it's
Lawrence better than Mahomes. I like
it's
Williams better than Mahomes. I like Daniels better than Mahomes. I like Herbert
exactly.
and yet I
Is
have
when you
Mahomes.
start taking into account all of the names,
So
you're kind
what's
of just
going
like,
on there?
fuck, I
I'm
really
not
do
doing the
kind of
math
have
in
to
my
put
head.
him back here. Yeah.
Honestly, like much like the previous tier, all of these guys are like the 320 to 360 range for me. They don't
Right.
have
So
the they don't have
we
the
talked
elite
about that.
echelon.
Yeah. Yeah. That
There's a
was
few
something that
guys.
you and I
Well, I'll
mentioned.
get into
Anywhere
it later,
between
but
15 to 10, you can take any of these guys in that range and you'll be satisfied with the results.
yeah. Who you got next? May?
Troy does believe a little bit more in Mahomes than I do, but that, we'll get to a consensus via.
Yep. My tier is much bigger than yours. Yours is like 10 to 15. I think really like 4
No, mine's
through.
10 to 20. Like mine's 10 to 20.
You
And
think
then
all
you
those guys
mentioned
are
15 through
interchangeable?
10. I think, yeah, 10 through 20, you're going to get the same level of ceiling from each one of these guys. Whereas 15 through 10, you're going to get a higher level of floor.
Kenneth
But the
LaFleur.
ceilings will all be about the same. Like you're going to see about 35 to 40 points out of all of these guys once or twice, maybe 3 to 4 times a season.
Yep.
But the floors is what elevates 15 through 10 above 16 through 20.
Yep.
because there's real floors 15 through 10. There's real floor. There's 20 to 25 points a game on the table every single week for these guys, with 35 to 40, maybe even a 50 burger once or twice a year. We'll see what happens. It's fantasy football, baby. It's exciting and it's fun, and you can win money and have bragging rights over your friends and family. It's all good stuff. Now let's get back to the list.
You got May next, right? It's got to be May. You don't like
No,
May? That's what? Who do you have?
your mother. Just kidding.
Yeah.
Your mother's my mother, and she doesn't play in the NFL.
Not anymore.
But I fooled you.
She got
though.
suspended for performance-enhancing drugs.
Dude, she's a beast.
She was chewing anabolics back in the day.
She's a beast. She do
She
it
was
all.
juicing up with Bo
She
Jackson.
be the moms. Getting back into number 11, I've got the Bo Nix.
Bo Nix above Patrick Mahomes.
Got Bo Nix above your mother.
Above Jaden Daniels.
Yeah. You don't like
This
it?
is bold. Go ahead and then you're saying he's right around Mahomes, right? Not substantially better. This is not a new
No, like
tier.
I said, 10 through 12,
Yeah.
or 10 through 15, all super interchangeable. 10 through 20, you're going to get all the same ceiling.
Broncos,
So
yeah, I like it. I like
if
Nix
you
right
want to
around
put Mahomes above Bo Nix, I ain't going to shit on you, but I'm not going to agree with you because I already put Bo Nix ahead of Mahomes. You feel me?
Feel you, dog.
That being said, Bo Nix is just in a really solid situation, and he himself is really good. And Sean Payton loves giving his quarterback love, so he's going to get a lot of opportunities. The
You
running
worried about
game is a
the
little
foot?
suspect, but they'll
Yeah.
still use it. It's good players. But that being said, the offensive production will go through Bo Nix as a Sean Payton offense does. It goes through the quarterback. He's going to be good, man. He's going to be real good this year.
Yeah, and they
The
didn't.
AFC West is a dogfight, though, and they're a lead dog in it.
Yeah, to your point about the offense going through Bo Nix, they didn't add enough at running back for me to say that's going to become the team's identity is
Take
to
a load
funnel
off,
everything
right?
to the running
Yeah,
backs.
exactly.
It's going to be a committee again. Harvey, Dobbins, as long as he's healthy, and then the new guy they drafted from Washington, Jonah Coleman, should be a pretty good running back, young running back for him. Can play a role similar to what Harvey played last year, in my opinion, actually. Though I think he profiles as more the Dobbins replacement when Dobbins inevitably gets injured. Receiving core, they reloaded, traded their first round pick next year for Jalen Waddle. Waddle, we talked about last week. He's got one of the best success rates against man and zone in the league. In other words, despite Tua's best efforts, Waddle is an amazing receiver who wins his routes against both types of coverages. Should be phenomenal next season for a good offense. And then, of course, Cortland Sutton's still going to be 5 to 8 targets a game, probably 8 to 10 touchdowns on the season, like a touchdown every other week. So a lot of success for Bo Nix, in my opinion.
To statistical success for Bo Nix, right?
And they're deep at receiver because honestly, if they rolled back the receiving core they did last year, where Sutton, Mims is like this weird gadget, like accent mark on the whole thing. Troy Franklin taking meaningful steps forward, where he had multiple games of over like 7 targets or so. It looked like he was going to become what he was for Bo Nix at Auburn when they played together, number 1 receiver for him. So they didn't really involve the tight end, and then RJ Harvey was involved a lot in the passing game for running backs. And then they had their usual committee nonsense behind it, but a good enough offense last year. And I think that if they just rolled it back, we'd probably have Knicks ranked around the same. And so the addition of Jalen Waddle should be pretty meaningful. I also don't think their defense is going to repeat being as good, but we'll see. The Broncos defense usually is. So it might stifle the absolute ceiling for the offense to do what I think the Cowboys are going to have to do next year, for example, or I think from the rest of these teams on this list, maybe what the Jaguars are forced to do some weeks. The defense can be exposed badly. where the offense has to kind of keep up. Whereas I don't see that happening very often with the Broncos. I see them hanging in every game, pretty much competing every game, and it'll probably be close and lower scoring.
Well, whatever it'll
game
look
totals.
like, all of the production will come from Bo Nix.
Yeah, agreed. And
Yeah.
other than the foot concern, I think we're talking about a 300-point player. I think he can
he's
kind of
definitely in
repeat
that
the
range.
stats from last year. Here,
Definitely in that range. I noticed you have Drake May at this spot, and we're not too far off from thinking that May is in this range because I've got him up next on my board. Do you want to get in why you've got him ranked at 11?
He should not be above Dak Prescott, above Jalen Hurts, above Trevor Lawrence, above Caleb Williams, above Jaden Daniels. And I know you have him above some of these names, but he just shouldn't be above these other more proven guys. Look, like there are dudes in this industry who really like May, who think that he is a top 5 quarterback and he's just young and he hasn't shown it consistently yet over his career, but that's because he hasn't had the opportunity and they think he's already there coming into it this coming year. For me, he just played the easiest schedule in the league outside of what the 49ers played against. And we saw May go against 4 top 5 defenses in a row.
Didn't look very good.
You go against the Patriots, the Seahawks.
He didn't go against the
Broncos, the Seahawks, Texans. Each of those defenses made me think when I was watching those playoff games that this moment was too big for Drake May.
Yeah, agreed. Especially the Seahawks matchup.
It was just past him. It was just past. He wasn't going to be able to compete at the level high enough where the decisions had to be made. He didn't have the weapons around him. This year that changes. AJ Brown's coming in. And he's got enough, and Romeo Dobbs as a pretty solid number 2 receiver.
Yeah.
No longer throwing to Demario Douglas, Stephon Diggs, all these guys. The running backs. People don't want to say it. It was bad as Henderson was in the playoffs last year. I did see a kid running hungry in that Super Bowl. He had 2 bad outings against 2 of the league's best defenses in the prior 2
good
weeks.
Defenses.
They didn't use him as much. They leaned on the veteran Ramondre being an explosive, very good all-around back himself. I think Ramondre repeats as a team's lead back, but I see Henderson as absolute lightning out of there, and I think he's going to be young and hungry next year. He already surprised a lot of people last year when he ran. He had 3 different 30-point fantasy games, true ceilings outcomes for him. So, yeah, May's going to have all the weapons around him this year. They actually reloaded at tight end a bit too. So Hunter Henry's the name everybody knows, guy who could be a top 5 tight end any given year, just solid, reliable touchdown. But Reardon is the rookie that they put in behind him. This guy's a phenomenal athlete, very talented run blocker, and more than good enough in the passing game. I mentioned him because you could throw a dart at Austin Hooper any week for a touchdown with his 2 targets and, inevitable goal line look. I think Reardon's going to be right there as well. So I think most of the sets the Patriots are going to come out of is probably 2 tight end with AJ Brown, Dobbs, Hunter Henry, and Reardon out there with one of the 2 running backs. I can see that package coming out there a lot. And to me, that means a very balanced offense. Again, I don't hate May. I don't think he's as good as everyone wants him to be. I think he had a pretty easy pathway last year, and we saw what happens when he's put up against the absolute best defenses. But a lot of quarterbacks would have crumbled in those same situations or not done as much, especially from a fantasy perspective.
Right.
So I just went on about him at length. How do you feel about him?
I like him to finish 10th. He's definitely got really, really high floor, really, really high ceiling. He plays, not just as easy of a schedule, but it's still pretty easy of a schedule considering the defenses in the AFC East did not get better. And he presumably is one step better. We'll see. I don't know. He's a good quarterback, but I'm not 100% sure that he's going to finish above 10th. But he has the ability.
Notice, but you had already relabeled all the numbers, so thank you.
Yeah, don't touch the spreadsheet anymore.
Okay. Let me just highlight this whole section.
I even deleted that other column too, so don't scroll through anymore because you're going to give away spoilers.
Okay, heard. I think you're sharing your screen anyways, no?
Yeah, but you're somehow adjusting it.
Did that scroll down for you? No.
No, okay, no. I see what's happening. You're just changing, or you were looking at changing stuff, but I already did it.
Yeah,
Okay, you're
if
good.
I remove my screen, I just need to stop sharing my screen because it's not actually sharing the screen anyway. So
Just taking up processing power for nothing. All right. But yeah, I mean, when we get into the names that we're going to get into, there's no way he finishes above him. At least I don't think logically that makes sense, but that's why we play the game. We'll find out. But he's a really solid guy, man. The schedule is going to be relatively what it was last year. It'll be a little bit better because they did win the division, and then it'll be a little bit. They'll have a bit of a target on their back because they're coming off an AFC Championship win. You know, people are going to be playing a little harder against them. We'll see what that all amounts to, but I believe it's 10th. Troy believes it's 11th, and to us, that's a pretty interchangeable range of quarterbacks.
AJ Brown coming, needing to prove himself this year too. You could see some ceiling performances from him, and then
We'll see how it
of course there is Rossini and Vrabel.
Long string of veteran receivers going to a new team after having troubled situations and not performing
30-year-old
super
receivers.
well. But there is also a long stream of receivers having troubled situations that they're leaving and going in and performing extremely well. We'll see which case AJ Brown is, or AJ Brown. Yeah, AJ Brown.
Did you see that the Eagles had a little
Who am I
plaque on the
confusing
wall
him with?
that said that for AJ Brown's going away, that said the best to ever play here at receiver
In Philly?
in Philly, which I think is true.
That's bold. Terrell Owens exists.
Yeah, he exists, but he wasn't that good on Philly. He was better on the Niners, and when he was good in Philly, it wasn't as
Not
good as
that
AJ
good on
Brown.
Philly. They went to a Super Bowl with him. He came
But I
back
don't
and
think it was that good.
he scored a touchdown in the Super Bowl. If they won the game, he would have been MVP.
I don't know. I don't think T.O. at that point in his career was ever as good as. I don't think T.O. was ever as good as AJ Brown. Is that wrong?
I
Like
think that's
AJ
wrong.
Brown's ceiling.
I think
as
T.O.
a-
is on the Mount Rushmore of receivers.
I fully say I wasn't paying attention enough at the time, and I haven't looked at it since. I could neither talk about statistically nor from a film perspective of how good Terrell Owens was, but I do know he was a big deal.
There were a few drop problems when he was in Philly and Dallas, but other than that, man, and then
That's what
his
I
time in
thought.
Buffalo is forgettable.
From what I remember watching football at the time, I felt like he was already past his prime. It felt like
Oh
that.
no,
Like,
he was
like
first
a
team
huge
All
step
Pro
down.
2 years in Dallas.
Okay.
Yeah, first team All Pro. Yeah. And you got to keep in mind I'm a cowboy. He had Tony just sling the shit football. Romo throwing him the ball, bro. Like he was just jacking him up all them deep and go routes to all the corners.
What could have
been
Tony Romo?
What was? They were 13-3. They were a number 1 seed. If the defense didn't show
wins that we needed, we didn't get the Super Bowl wins with them. We needed those. We needed it for him. I wanted him to win. He deserved to win.
We're gonna get off this because it's gonna make me sad.
You're my boy, Romo. All right,
Tony's my all-time favorite Cowboy, though Dak Prescott is creeping up that list. So watch out, Tony. If Dak wins one, your ass is grass, buddy.
Rookie Zeke made me watch football again.
You know what? I had no hate on that. Rookie Zeke was an amazing player to watch. But we're not talking about running backs. We're talking about quarterbacks. And right now we're talking about the number 9 quarterback.
Ezekiel Elliott.
Is Ezekiel Elliott. For Troy, it is actually Ezekiel Elliott's favorite running mate, Dak Prescott. But for me, I got the Herbo man himself, Justin Herbert, number 9.
People call me the Herb Man.
People call him the Herb Man because his name is Herbert. Now, I'm going to go ahead and talk about Herbert for a couple seconds. He's in a fantastic situation. The offense, the receivers, running back, offensive line, all good around him. Great coach, great offensive coordinator. There's no reason to hate on this guy. For reference, my range here is anywhere between 5 and 9. You're getting the same floor, the same ceiling. It's just who's your favorite guy.
Okay.
That being said, I have clear favorites, and Herbo is my 9th favorite quarterback. You want to talk about why Dak is your 9th favorite quarterback? Because I'm really mad at you right now for this.
Same exact thing you just said about all these guys being pretty
I'm
much
gonna fight
interchangeable.
you for this one.
In short, outside of
The moment I
Josh
see you, I'm
Allen,
gonna beat you up.
instead of Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, and Lamar Jackson, outside of those 3 quarterbacks, I think everybody here is about the same 320 to 360 fantasy point play, somewhere in there. I do think Herbert is the only name from my top 9 that has a potential to be the number 1 overall quarterback, like a reasonable chance of that. I think
Okay.
it's like a 1
But
in
he's
5.
still ranked on that bubble for you, though.
Yeah, I just think his ceiling outcome is so much more likely than any of these other guys' ceiling outcomes because
Gotcha.
of the offensive coordinator upgrades, because of the weapon upgrades.
So, what did that have to do with Dak being the number 9 quarterback?
What's commentary on where you have Herbert, but what I am saying is also trying to establish again the tier. I think Dak could easily score as many points as any of these next 5 names. Why
Gotcha.
he's at the back of the list then, instead of being above, someone like Trevor Lawrence or someone with the injury history of Jaden Daniels. Part of this puzzle is that he doesn't run. One thing almost every other name that I have ahead of Dak has in common is that they all have a rushing floor. The only exceptions here, sole exception is Joe Burrow. Patrick
Right.
Mahomes is probably not going to run as much, but if the bet against Mahomes is saying his arm isn't going to get it done, that's a bad bet because he's going to get it done. The Dak doesn't run though, like we know this. I think his props at like 1.5 rushing touchdowns next year. He's run
I'm
a
taking the
way
over on
less
that
in
all
his
day,
first
to be
couple of
honest.
seasons, especially after that really nasty leg injury a few seasons back. And so Lawrence isn't having that problem. Neither is Williams. Neither is Daniels. They all still have running as an intricate part of their game. Herbert does too, though he is less of a floor than those other quarterbacks. Probably profiles about the same rushing touchdowns and yards as Lawrence. But with Mike McDaniels, a lot more goal line opportunities in general. You could see Herbert's legs getting them pretty far. And that new OC, Herbert just has absolute number 1 potential. So all of these are things that think that Dak Prescott does not have a high rushing floor ceiling driven by the run by his legs. I do think the Cowboys defense is going to be on par, if not worse, than most of these remaining teams. And so that's going to mean the Cowboys offense has to do a little more to make them competitive. On top of that, Dak is just a baller, an elite quarterback, one of the best passers in the game. He's a competitor through and through, can win it in the fourth quarter, will generate points all year. He's throwing to phenomenal players. We all know CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens, Ferguson. All these guys can catch, run after the
Ryan
catch,
Flournoy.
deep. Flournoy, who we really love this year. They also have some younger weapons too that I'm excited for. Not only Flournoy, but also Trigg, the backup tight, the rookie tight end, and Schoonman,
He makes the
who
team.
I
He'll be a
think
lot
is
of fun.
a good tight end too. So all this is to say, Dak has the weapons. Situationally, he might have to perform in a way that these other quarterbacks won't, that have the better defenses. But I don't think he's got the legs to establish the floor and the ceiling most weeks, which is going to make him finish outside the top 8 for me,
Okay.
as
Gotcha.
compared to these other guys.
I feel you on that one, but I don't agree. I think Dak is going to finish a lot better, in my own opinion, but I'll get into that a little later. Number 8, let's do it. Troy's got Trevor Lawrence going. Troy, do you want to talk about Trevor Lawrence real quick?
Yeah, the Jaguars bringing Liam Cohen, Lawrence coming back. The receiving core should be about the same or better than last year, between Myers, Travis Hunter, I'm blanking the other guys already, Parker Washington, and then of course Brian Thomas Jr. Some of those guys we saw step backs. Some of those guys, how much can you rely on them? I'm talking about Travis Hunter and Parker Washington. there. So it could be a mixed bag of offensive production. Plus, they did lose Etienne, uh, and they replaced him with Tootin and Chris Rodriguez. So there's some questions around this offense. But last year, Lawrence's rushing went through the roof. And despite all of those concerns at receiver, they did bring in a Jacoby Myers to establish a baseline of production through the air that they can rely on consistently. Meanwhile, I think guys like Brian Thomas just had bad years last year.
Okay.
So I think he's going to take a step forward than he did, revert more to what he did his rookie season. And then Travis Hunter, the coaches, there's been some coach speak about him playing more on defense, but that not necessarily taken away from his offensive snaps. When you draft him, you're not drafting for consistent performance anyways. You're drafting for ceiling. And this was the Blitnikoff winner, the best receiver in the country award winner at one point. So
be a prominent weapon for Lawrence for sure.
Yeah. But again, the differentiator here between him and a guy like Dak, it's the leg. It's the leg production. The rushing touchdowns, I think, are going to be there again. And I think the rushing yards are going to be there. Plus, new haircut, new look, new me, Lawrence. I want to bet on that just to see what happens. Maybe he's lighter.
Well, we all know Sunshine had a fantastic season after he cut the locks for the Titans. So we'll see how it works out for Trevor Lawrence and the Jaguars.
The Titans? Who are those? I think I might have forgot those Titans. The Titans?
You didn't forget them. You remember them. Everybody remembers.
I remember the Titans.
I hate you. I'm going to smack you if you don't remember them. You better remember them right now.
I'm sorry. Memories of the Alamo keep getting in the way. And
it's not even the same time period or anything to do with each other. How are you confusing them? All right.
And May 25th.
So, you know what? We do agree on Dak and Trevor Lawrence being back-to-back, just not in the same order or anywhere near the same spot.
Well, yeah, because you got goofy things like Patrick Mahomes and Jaden Daniels being outside the top 10.
I don't have goofy anything. I'm going to be right.
You're probably right about Patrick Mahomes. Like, the more I look at it, I was like, shit, look at my names I got above. Do I really believe he's going to finish better than Jaden Daniels and Herbert?
No, you don't. You picked because
probably not.
You picked because you're a goofball.
Mahomes.
You picked because you're a goofball. Going to number 7, Troy's got Caleb Williams, and I've got Caleb Williams.
There it is. The stars align.
Caleb Williams. All right, to give the quick overview, Chicago's offense is downright exciting. They don't have like the receiver talent of like a Dallas or a Minnesota, Cincinnati, but they do have that next tier of receivers. They are really, really good, really, really young, and they're going to go through Caleb Williams' immaculate arm and his beautifully painted nails.
Well said.
It's going to happen.
Caleb also has that rushing floor too. Guy that uses his legs as a big part of his game, makes not only just the rushing yards, but also extending pass plays. We saw that touchdown to Kmet that kept them in the playoff game against the Packers last year.
That nonsensical running 20 yards back and just launching it. Yeah, great stuff.
It was incredible, man.
Great
now,
stuff.
The thing about that launch from Caleb Williams, you did say immaculate arm. I do agree the arm talent is it's among the league's best, if not the best. The problem is the execution consistently. He's one of the worst downfield accuracy quarterbacks.
It does seem like he just jacks it up sometimes, yeah.
It's like forced throws. But when I see, so there was a couple of games last year where DJ Moore, like the ball just got pegged off his hands in the end zone or so. It's because Caleb's got to force it. And remarkably, the ball arrives there between like 2 or 3 defenders.
He's a really good window thrower. Yeah.
That's uncatchable and or not very receiver friendly, which you could say things about the receivers, right? They could have been better, etc. But it worries me about
receivers need to be quarterback friendly, if we're being honest.
Yeah. And so the Bears, other than a little bit more on those receivers, they're really good. Between Odunze and Burden. Burden led college football in receiving production to his junior year. He took a step back his senior year because the quarterback play.
Yeah,
And
I heard
they
about
got
that.
like an injury, and then they had a backup playing the whole season or something, and that put burden off of everyone's radar. Meanwhile, so he gets drafted in the second round. Meanwhile, this is a legit best receiver in the draft class talent. So he kind of goes under the radar, gets picked up by Ben Johnson and the Bears, and holy shit, like you saw the flashes last year. It's just he
Yeah.
was competing with established veterans that they locked in for, I think, DJ Moore, like a 4-year, $80 million contract or something. So
Yeah, when they brought him in. Yeah.
if not more expensive. So even though it wasn't that coaching staff's guy that signed the contract, you still have to get those guys involved. But now DJ Moore's not there. And we saw a little bit of burden in the playoffs and the fantasy playoffs without Moore. And that was pretty electric, right? I think there was a 9-target, 2-touchdown game or something like that. 140 yards, so something crazy, right? And we can see a lot more of that. And the coach speak around Burden has been really positive too. Ben Johnson said, "quote I'm buying stock in Luther Burden.
Right.
I would buy stock in Luther
That all
Burden."
translates to Caleb Williams. Good stuff, right?
Very, very good, right? And then I think they're going to run the 2 tight end set too. We didn't even talk about Colson Loveland, who's one of the best receiving talents at tight end in the league.
Yeah.
And he's already at the point where you could say, if not the best receiving talent as far as route running and all that goes. Brock Bowers, there's a lot to say there athletically. So all that.
Yeah, but we'll get into tight ends when it's time to get into tight ends. Yeah.
Yeah. No, but I mean, all this is
around
again.
Caleb Williams.
So if you think about Caleb
right
going under center, 2 tight end sets, they don't have to worry about that third receiver. So yeah, I think there's just a lot of opportunity here, and it's an offense that goes through the running back for the most part. Like everything's set up by the play action, and I think there's going to be a lot of that there for Caleb this year.
Yeah, super successful with that. I neglected to talk about my number 8, which is Jalen Hurts. I think the offense is going to take a step back without A.J. Brown because I do not believe in the replacements that they brought in. Although I do believe that Devontae Smith is going to have a way better season, but I'll talk about him during receiver day. Okay. Hurts has the rushing ability, and we talked about this range already with 5 to 10 being relatively interchangeable with really high floors, really high ceilings. So this is no discredit to Jalen Hurts. This is just kind of feel like where I think he's going to fall. He's going to have a great season. Score above 300 points, score a few rushing touchdowns, gets you a lot of throwing touchdowns. But the receiving core did take a step back. At the very least, they got ridiculously young with Devontae Smith being the vet of the group now. So we'll see how it works out as far as the pass catchers go. Of course, Smitty will be great, and Goddard will be fantastic. Yeah, we'll see what the running back situation looks like. Obviously, Saquon will do his work as long as he's healthy. We'll see if he stays healthy all 17. But other than that, all good stuff, all positive for Jalen Hurts. I think he can any given week be the number 1 quarterback, but I think at the end of the season it'll look like number 8.
Yep, all points I completely agree with. I think I am a little more bullish on Mekhi Lemon as a replacement than you might be. I think that's a player out of USC who can line up on the outside, do damage on the inside.
Yeah,
as well.
I don't believe in USC receivers. They come into the NFL and they shit the bed. But yeah.
I mean, multiple teams thought he was a round 1 talent. Famously, this last year, right, he was on the phone with the Steelers, and then the Eagles decided to step in ahead and go ahead and take him. So he was being evaluated, and so that's interesting, right? He was being evaluated for the Steelers. Why would they want to pick him up when they have DK Metcalf on the outside and Michael Pittman on the outside?
Well, here's the other flip side. Why would Dallas, the in-division rival, be okay with giving Philly this pick knowing that this guy could help? Because they didn't think this guy could help.
So Dallas evaluated him different, which does Dallas always evaluate receiving draft picks the best?
I would say Dallas's receiving core is pretty fucking solid in that they draft really well at receiver.
Dallas surprisingly drafts really well, and yet
if I need to show you the receipts, just go look at the long list of 88. Those are all homegrown drafted brothers.
What
great
I'm what I
players.
was trying to get at with my point is, why would a team who has two more established outside receivers consider Mekhi Lemon? It's because of the slot profile and that smaller inside work. So if we
Eh,
think about
we'll see.
what
We'll see how that all works out. I mean, like
but
I
here's
said,
what it means
Jalen
for
Hurts
Hurts,
is
because here's a
yeah.
major criticism of Lemon and Hurts, why it won't work. The suggestion is Mekhi Lemon's more of an inside player. Devontae Smith with AJ Brown's not there is going to have to play more on the outside, even though we know he does his best work in the slot today. He can play on the outside, but he's got a profile to play more on the out, and Mekhi Lemon on the middle. Jalen Hurts doesn't throw the ball over the middle of the field. Like, that's a big criticism. That's what the data shows us the last few years of play.
Yeah.
And there is sort of a snake biting its own tail thing here, because
Well,
why would he throw over the middle of the field if his two best options are on the outside and Goddard's like running underneath or outs and stuff like that? So the criticism of Hurts is basically, if it's not wide open, he's not throwing it, and those contested catches in the middle of the field may not be there, depending on if you believe Lemon can get open or not.
I mean,
What
if
does all
the
this mean?
biggest
Like
criticism
you,
of your quarterback is if it's not open, he's not throwing it there, I don't think that's a
I mean,
bad
I mean,
criticism.
like you, I have him even lower, right? I have him worse than Herbert, and right around with May, because I believe that his ceiling as a passer is going to be capped. I think that he's going to have a fair amount of rushing touchdowns, but I believe he's going to have less rushing touchdowns than any previous year. Why? Because he always bitches every year about how he doesn't want to run as much.
Well,
There's
yeah,
always
that's
those
true.
reports coming out. And interestingly, here's like sort of the cheese may. Uh, they drafted a running quarterback behind
Well,
him.
yeah, because he fits the profile to keep the offense the same if Jalen Hurts goes down. That's the
Yes.
only reason you do stuff like that.
Yeah. Now, could you see a tush push being run by anyone but Hurts? Not when it
Maybe.
matters
I don't know.
most, but like maybe in the middle of the season, uh,
I don't know.
3rd and
We'll
2.
see. That's
Yeah.
definitely something the coaches will discuss for sure. But either way, I don't think that Jalen Hurts will take far enough of a step back to not still finish within the top 10. It seems like you believe in that as well. You got him ranked at 10.
Yeah,
So,
right at 10.
yeah. It seems like all belief in the Jalen Hurts corner, although there are a few question marks. We'll see if Philly addressed them well enough going into the season.
Yep.
That being said, we're going to get into number 6. Troy's got Jaden Daniels. Fucking, I don't know why, but he's got him there. Troy, tell us why you got him there.
Legs and arm and bad defense.
Okay.
And
So a lot of opportunity.
I've
A
said
lot
a
of
lot.
opportunity.
I've said a lot
And
already.
he's
So
got
yeah,
all
I
the
think
tools.
I think he
Yeah.
has an elite, if not top 3, the best rushing floor, rushing ceiling in amongst all these quarterbacks,
Okay.
Josh Allen,
So
Lamar
you're buying the
included.
ceiling on him then. Gotcha.
He was not someone I believed in out of college. I thought he was very bad at ASU. I thought he was lackluster at LSU. Everyone else thought otherwise, and they were right. I was completely wrong, even though I won a lot of money with Jaden Daniels in
Eat
best ball.
crow.
He won me like 14 grand 2 years ago in best ball when I finished 3rd and 6th in the same 120,000 person tournament, the King of the Desert. Because it took him as a rookie and he was going past like round 10. So, like, with this dude with the elite rushing floor and like everything I'm saying still applies this coming year. He just got hurt last year, like
Yeah.
the weapons coming back, or the weapons probably about as good, maybe worse. Terry McLaurin leads it off. Not going to be I don't think he'll be like a top 10 receiver, but he should be great. The new head coach is very offensively motivated. David Blau. He was a backup quarterback, but he was well sought out before taking this job. I think he's OC, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
It might be the head coach. But the point is, their offensive scheme is going to be great next year. A highly sought after candidate to unlock Jaden Daniels in the offensive broad. But the
Okay.
rest of the weapons are pretty lackluster. We don't know what they're going to do. A running back, Rashad White, Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt, Katron Allen. None of these names inspire fear. That gives you confidence the offense will go through Jaden Daniels' legs and arms. Even on the goal line, none of those names really scare you off of potential 10 rushing touchdown season for Daniels.
Right.
They don't have much else. They added Chig Okonkwo, a tight end, dynamic receiver out of there, but who cares? It's Chig at the end of the day. And then they don't really have any other receiving options besides that. They're rumored to get Brandon Ayuk when the 49ers release him in September. September 1st is when he's rumored to get released unless the Commanders decide to trade before. They probably
Gotcha.
won't. They picked up some young talent, Antonio Williams. He's got some buzz around him. Probably not going to do much. I don't like his weapons as much, but that the leg combo just
But because
automatically
he's
vaults him.
that okay, gotcha.
Yeah. And it's
So that's why I had him ranked a little
while.
further back, is just because the weapons around him just were all question marks. But yeah, you're right. His running potential definitely elevates him to a level that I mean, it gives you a lot to be excited about for sure.
Yep.
All right. Well, getting into mine, I've got Matty Stafford ranked at 6. And this is the number 1 scorer in fantasy football last season long. I think he's going to come back just as strong this year. Well, maybe not just as strong, but this is a dude who's a threat to finish with 350 to 380 on any given season. And especially this upcoming season, he's got all the same weapons back. The offensive line's pretty good. And the defense, they're going to be monstrous.
It's gonna suck playing against the Rams next year. That's for sure. Unless they suck against the run.
That has potential to score 40 on you, and the attitude to do it too. They don't let off the gas pedal either. If they're up, they're going to bury you for fun. And the defense has potential to keep you to 0. So if you play the Rams this year, you're on shutout and 40 bomb watch any given week. Good luck. I believe in you, but I believe in Matthew Stafford more.
He certainly earned this spot and more than that. Like last year, 380 fantasy points or something like that. Was 40
380. Number 1 quarterback score. Yeah.
Can't remember the exact number of touchdowns, but I think it was above 40.
A lot.
Yeah.
A lot of touchdowns.
Bring back all the same weapons at receiver. They get better on defense. Arguably, the offense is going to be probably better. I know Devontae Adams gets another year older, another step slower, as my favorite saying goes.
See what I'm saying? You said it again.
I rewatched that recording, and I didn't say it once that whole fucking episode.
No, of course not.
So
why would you say that? That's such a stupid saying. I can't believe you just said it right now.
I agree. Stafford could be easily top 6 here, or if not above. He could be the number 1 quarterback.
He could easily be the number 1 quarterback. He just did it last year. This is more than likely going to be his last year. For sure his last year in LA. But
why then do I have him back at 12 at the end of the QB1 tier is because, again, there's no rushing floor to speak of with him at all. It's all going to be.
But he was the number 1 scoring quarterback in fantasy last year, so it's kind of.
I agree. I think he could, but I'm just saying
the rushing floor mean that much to you that you're willing to fade the literal number 1 quarterback last year, coming back.
Assuming 17 games played for all these guys, yeah, I think Josh Allen, Burrow, Jackson for sure.
No, well, don't mention any quarterbacks we got in the top 5. Mention the quarterbacks that you've got between 6 and 12.
So let me go from your rankings. I think Herbert probably does better than Stafford this year because I think the Chargers take the same offensive lead, but I think Herbert has the rushing profile.
Again, that rushing profile didn't make Justin Herbert the number 1 scoring quarterback in fantasy football last year.
I also don't know if what do you think about? We're not talking about running backs today, but do you think that the Chargers running back room between Hampton, Vidal, and Keaton
I think
Mitchell,
they're excited enough about the young guys to give them carries for sure.
And it's a Mike McDaniel's offense. So Tua was really productive the same year Mostert and Achane went off. But I just feel like Herbert's going to have to drive the offense more than the Dolphins' peak offense was able to through those running backs. So that's
he's certainly a full 3 tiers above Tua as far as talent goes, but I don't know. We'll see how it works out.
I just feel like Herbert in particular finishes better than him. Caleb, I don't know, man. It's probably about there.
I
You
don't
got him
see.
back to back, so we're just splitting hairs at this point. But yeah, I could see stat. I like where you have him. I do.
So when you get to, I guess it's 9 and up, because I don't think Drake May can do this, but I think when you get to 9 and up on my rankings, any of these guys could finish as the number 1 quarterback, and any of these guys could finish as the number 9 quarterback.
Yeah,
That being said, I for sure like 5-1 better than I like 6-9.
yeah.
But 6-9, it like you can't miss. If you get any of these guys, you're gonna have a fun season. You might even win yourself a championship. You're gonna win yourself some money for sure.
I was gonna ask you, where does you did a few ESPN mock drafts so far, right? Or just redraft. Where does Stafford go? Is he like round 10, round like end of the draft? You can get him for free.
No, middle rounds.
Like
He'll go
round four,
like
round five.
yeah, he'll go like well no round I guess around like 7 or 8. Like he'll go anywhere near
That's
Dak.
a steal. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's good. Yeah.
But it's because people are like, oh, they just drafted another quarterback, blah, blah, blah. But it's not going to do shit. Matt Stafford's Matt Stafford. He's going to be great.
Oh yeah, I'm not factoring Ty Simpson at all into how I look at
Nobody
Stafford
should,
next
but yet
season.
people are. All right. So you've already talked about Justin Herbert, why you love him. So I'll go ahead and
Yep.
get into my number 5.
Herbo fairly loaded.
Herbo's going to be great. I got him at number 9. And like I just said, number 9 could finish number 1. He's got that ability. Going to be phenomenal. Number 5, everybody get ready, get ready, get ready. We got. Oh, why didn't it go?
That's me getting ready. That's my getting ready noise.
That's us getting ready. I've got Trevor Lawrence,
Boom.
the T-Law man himself.
Wow.
You already mentioned the running ability, so I don't need to do too much there. He's got that floor, that ceiling going for him. You already mentioned the receiving crew being a lot better around him. I think that these steps forward are enough to elevate Trevor Lawrence to this range. It seems like you're not too far off from that either. You got him ranked at number 8 rather than number 5.
Yeah, all these dudes, except increasingly, I'm worrying about my Patrick Mahomes position.
You should be, because
I
that
need
is
to move.
way
I need to
too
move
high.
2 names around here.
I saw exactly where you put him, and I think you're insane for it.
I am officially moving some names around.
All right, we'll figure it out after. No, don't do it right now.
I'm doing it right now.
You're spoiling it.
Oh, sorry.
You already made these rankings. You got to stick by them.
No, I don't.
They do.
I literally talked at the beginning of the show about how we were gonna like move stuff around based off the conversation.
Troy is an absolutist, which means if he changes anything, get him. All right.
I thought you were gonna say a coward for changing his ranking.
Well, that too. He is a coward. He's a full coward. You can change your rankings next week, but you can't change them this week. This is the rankings you made. This is the rankings we're putting out. It's on,
Whatever,
on
man. I'm not stuck to this. I didn't even number them right in the first place.
No, Troy, you're stuck to these. You're good. I already renumbered them. This is where they go. This is where they lie.
But apparently Mahomes sucks in hindsight.
He doesn't suck in hindsight. He could very easily finish the number 4 quarterback, which is where you have him ranked. I don't believe in him to finish this high, and it seems like Troy's having a lot of regrets. But Troy, what I want to know right now is I want you to defend the mindset you were in when you made him the number 4 ranked quarterback.
I was young, desperate, tired. Okay, so
we're just throwing rankings together. Okay,
I was distraught.
Look here, I'll do it. I'll help you out. Patrick Mahomes is
because I've already bull cased him a lot.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, he's straight up the best quarterback of our generation. I don't think there's any doubt about that at this point in time.
Okay. Cool.
He's not the GOAT yet, but if he goes on another dynasty run, he will be in the conversation with Tom Brady, because Tom Brady did it over 2 decades, not just one. That being said, Mahomes' talent and what he does with the football is better than Tom Brady. Like, Mahomes laid out parallel to the ground and threw a dot. If it wasn't for his receiver being on like whatever drug you feel like he was on that day and dropping every football thrown his way, it would have been great.
With you.
But,
yep.
And it's a big old but, because he's torn his ACL late in the season last year. And to Troy's point, it flows better for the NFL if Mahomes, especially with his restructured contract, plays. It just works out better. So there will probably be like witchcraft performed in the Kansas City locker room to make sure that he's ready for week 1. But I don't know what that'll look like, which is why I have him a little further back, and probably why Troy wants to move him a little further back now. But he's Mahomes, man. He very easily could finish top 4. He could very easily be the number 1 producing quarterback in fantasy this year. And in real life, he is that good, and he can be on any given year and any given week. So number 4, I don't hate the ranking. I just think you're insane for doing it coming off that injury that late in the season.
I'm actually not worried about the injury at all. So
It's
that
just the
I mean that's
timing of it. If it happened earlier, it'd be fine, but it happened so late in the season that it worries me.
I don't know. I
It's
just
not
think
whether he'll
injuries
be
are pretty
ready to
random
play,
at the
it's
end of the day.
whether he'll look 100% is my concern.
Yeah, I think okay, so to address why I want to move him back then, if I still like him so much, I'm not concerned about the injury, why would I be waffling on the number 4 position now? I just think talking through these other spots, like, do I think he's going to be better than Mike McDaniel's new offense? No. Do I think he's going to be better than, 800 yards on the ground, potentially 10 rushing touchdowns, Jaden Daniels? No. Moving back. Do I think he's going to be better than Caleb, Luther Burden, Romo Dunze, all coming like next year? Everyone's healthier. Ben Johnson coming in another year, and that's like with that system. No, I don't think he's gonna be better than Caleb Williams. I think he's gonna be better than Trevor Lawrence. That insanely high rushing profile we just talked about. The Jaguars all getting better. No, I don't think he's gonna be better. And then I look at Dak, and like Dak's about where okay, arm for arm. Both these guys aren't gonna try and push it with their legs. Defenses will probably be about the same, somewhere between like the 15th and 8th ranked defense, somewhere between there. Maybe I'm being too bullish on the Cowboys defense. I think they're probably still going to be pretty bad in the secondary.
They'll be fine.
So Dak theoretically throws more, and he doesn't have Kenneth Walker to hand the ball off to. So Javante's not going to pick up the workload that Walker will. So in other words, the Chiefs are going to have to go through the ground more than just Mahomes. All of that, and then you look at Hurts, right? All the rushing touchdowns, rushing production. There's not things Mahomes is going to have next year. So, and then Stafford's already talked about his ceiling. I think I still put Mahomes above May, but that's right about between Dak and May and Hurts, like right around there. So yeah, I'm just gonna make that change. Boom, boom, and then I need to renumber.
Boo.
There was one other name I was thinking of moving here too. Which I think this is all about good. This is generally accurate now. I think I was gonna bump Stafford ahead of May for sure. I think your argument for Stafford was pretty convincing.
I think you 100% should.
So I think if assuming everybody plays a full healthy season, yeah, I think Stafford probably finishes maybe not above Hurts and Mahomes, but above May. So I think that's what I would do with these to so far. But let's get back on track here. Who do you have at your number 4?
You just ruined the whole list. I did all these numbers, and now you're out here ruining everything. All right, get off the spreadsheet. I need it.
Okay, go ahead. I'll start renumbering mine.
No, don't renumber because we're on it together. Don't do it right now.
Okay, go for it.
All right. Number 4 is the Dak Attack himself. Mr. Dak Prescott.
The Dak Attack is back, Jack.
I, in no small terms, think that the Cowboys offense will be the number 1 offense in the NFL this year. And that'll look like Dak Prescott is probably the number 1 quarterback in fantasy football. But I didn't want to seem like I was being too like, oh, Dak's this, Dak's that. He's just that good, though. And the offense is that good. And to Troy's point, Javonte Williams will not take on the workload of other running backs, but he'll still have like 15 to 20 touches a game combined. So it's not like it'll all be on Dak, but it will be a lot on Dak. And with that phenomenal receiving core and that great cast of tight ends, I do believe that he'll finish anywhere between first and fifth, but I think he'll finish closer to the top than he will to the bottom of those rankings. I just didn't want to be accused of homegrown this or that, blah, blah, blah. It's Dak Prescott.
I've
He is
placed
that good.
two MVP bets so far. One is on Dak. The other one is on Justin Herbert. And I think I could add a third position on Caleb Williams. I think all three of these teams are Super Bowl contenders, and Dak could absolutely be the number one quarterback.
Slightly wary of Caleb Williams because the Madden curse does exist. It is real, and it's out for Caleb Williams.
They're so ready to give a guy with finger painted nails MVP to be the face of the league. They're so ready.
I don't agree with that assessment at all. I think they're ready to give MVP to the dude who earns the MVP.
Yeah, but they're also, it's a representation question too.
Well, I certainly hope that's not going to be the case because the award just needs to go to the player who earned it rather than whatever this or that. If Caleb Williams is that good, then Caleb Williams is that good. But I would be really upset at the integrity of the NFL if they did something like that.
Well, it's not the integrity of the NFL that's at stake. There's a group of voters, right? That
it's not doing the right thing. Like you're selling out for a representation vote. If the guy didn't earn it, he didn't earn it. Like that's
but the
right.
People win the MVP all the time. Years they didn't earn it. Like Stafford last year, I don't think he played phenomenally, and yeah, he had the best year statistically.
Who was MVP over Matt Stafford last year?
Last year was probably Josh Allen to me, was more important for his team than Stafford necessarily was for his.
But that's not what MVP means. MVP is the most valuable player to the league. But it's to the league. It's not to the.
Well, that's where the narratives come in. So Stafford to me won because he had a phenomenal year, like an MVP. He has as good of a year about as anybody else at the top.
Well, he actually had a better year than everybody else, at least fantasy wise.
Statistically, yeah, but that's different than actually having a better year as a quarterback than other guys.
Then who?
That's what I was just saying with well, if you want to get into that, Drake May had a pretty phenomenal statistical year as well, even though I don't believe in that at all.
But he would have gotten MVP playing against the worst schedule of all time. There's a reason that these guys don't get MVP. And I think they're picking MVP based on the dude who played the best football.
And I also think Dak played as good or better than Stafford last year.
He won 7. The problem is Dak didn't win enough games last year. And
we didn't have the defense.
The Cowboys didn't win enough games, but the team success.
We neither had the running back nor the defense.
The team success has to be there. If the team isn't eligible for the playoffs in week 17, then the players should not be eligible for MVP.
So ultimately regarding the MVP question specifically, what I'm saying is you not only need to have a statistically great year, you also need to have a narratively great reason to win, whatever that reason is. And this is why we saw in a year that Lamar performed much better than Josh Allen get his first MVP because it was his first. They needed to give him the award. He just had to get it some year that he played good enough, even though Lamar
they gave him the award because he earned it the year before. And they gave it to Lamar.
That's what I'm saying. And they gave it to Lamar instead that year, even though they flip-flop. Right. And so the MVP voters don't vote based off who had the best year, even statistically.
But it's one MVP apiece overall to the
they
two
give
guys
it to
should have earned it in back-to-back years.
Good enough at least. They give it to a player who's played good enough at least to qualify for the award, to qualify for voting.
Yeah, but what's the storyline with Lamar Jackson getting his? It's just
return off the injury, and then it's a new coaching staff, so there's a new. You could see.
I don't know. I don't necessarily.
But I didn't bet on Lamar. I bet on Dak, and I bet on Justin Herbert, and I can see Caleb also having that because I think all three of these guys have the narrative and the pull. They play in the right teams to win that award.
I think the player performance is a little bit more valued than you're thinking it is, but that's all right.
To me, it unlocks the ability to vote for you. If you play well enough, it unlocks the ability to vote for you. But what gives you the award is the narrative, why you deserve the award.
We'll just agree to disagree on that one. Because I don't agree with that take at all.
All right.
But it has nothing to do with player rankings, so it's not important. Dak Prescott at number 4. I think he could finish number 1. I just didn't want to get accused of favoritism. So getting into number 3, Troy's got Lamar Jackson, and I don't agree with this. But number 3 may as well be number 1. So Troy, talk about why Lamar is awesome.
I mean, it's probably gonna be a lot of this. I'm curious to see what ranking you had this order in. Lamar coming off a terrible year last year, injuries. But I think he's going to be a lot better this year. They get a new offensive coordinator, someone who can hopefully get the Ravens out of whatever conservative Harbaugh mind always leads them to just running the ball when they don't need to, passing it terribly and without confidence, and just leaning in on the defense overall. It's good formulas to win games in a competitive division. It's bad for fantasy, and I would just want to see Lamar do more. And I think he'll have the chance to this coming year. Was even if they don't do anything different schematically than they've done in previous years, just if he plays 17 games, we're going to see him probably hit this mark.
Be this good. Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
I wholeheartedly agree with that.
And I also think their offense takes a step forward. So if we're talking about the weapons last year, Rashad Bateman was the number 2 receiver. Of course, Zay Flowers is the number 1. The 2 tight ends they were rolling with for years was Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely. Likely gets hurt last season. Not a big factor at all. Andrews is another year older, another step slower, as I always say. And he looked kind of the part, but not very good. And he's another year older this year. So maybe another step back. But the receivers they reloaded at. So Zay Flowers is the outside. The number 2 receiver, they still have Rashad Bateman, but they did bring in 2 rookies that there's a lot of buzz for. Elijah Surratt out of Indiana. They've been talking about him as sort of like a big power slot, like a CD Lamb. Obviously, probably not as good as CD Lamb.
We'll get into receivers. Yeah.
The other guy, Jacoby Lane, USC receiver who Goose publicly disavowed on this very stream.
Bad stuff, man. You don't want a USC receiver.
Big dude, fast enough, can catch on the outside. I think one of these 2 guys contributes meaningfully to this team, like to the tune of 400 to 500 yards, maybe a few touchdowns. But I think that's still an improvement from what they got out of their number 2 receivers last year. The Ravens are also notorious for signing the oldest, most decrepit receivers in the final years of their career. And
the most exciting name. Yeah.
That puts them in the running for Stephon Diggs this year. And so if he signs there, that's actually, I think, a pretty big bump because Diggs was really efficient last year still. And all this is outside of the fact that you've got Derrick Henry back there. And the running back situation isn't better than last year. Henry, another year older, another step slower. Justice Hill is coming back, like, yay. And then Rasheen Ali. And yeah, I'm not really excited about any of these names. I think they've drafted a rookie too. The name is escaping me at the moment, but
right. But that all translates to a ton of opportunity for Lamar in an offense
with slightly better
passing
game potential, I think, right, than he had last year. And if he plays healthy, I just think he finishes right around here. You know?
Yeah, agreed. Like I said, anywhere between 4 and 1, it may as well be the same thing. It's really just who you feel a little bit more comfortable with picking, and because Troy's a little more hesitant on Lamar's weapons, he finishes just below Josh Allen and Joe Burrow. We'll see who he's got where right now. But for me in particular, right now, I've got number 3, Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
The Burrow man himself.
Everyone calls him that.
Just thinking about him. He's so cool. Depending on how you feel about Cincinnati, they've got the best receiving core in the league. I personally think that's Dallas, but we can argue literally all day on that, and both of us will just be right somehow.
Pickens Lamb is better than Chase Higgins, right?
Like, I've got them finished 3 and 4 respectively. I think those 2 quarterbacks will benefit from their weapons around them. The running game is going to be pretty good with Chase Brown leading the charge there.
Yeah.
Hopefully the offensive line got figured out. We'll see what happens. But regardless, Joe Burrow is still going to put up a ridiculous amount of production because he's just that good.
Yep.
And then the defense is that bad. he's going to have to throw a lot.
Yep.
All good stuff. All good stuff there. We'll
Yep.
get into number 2. Troy. Troy's got Joe Burrow. Troy, do you want to talk about why you got him ranked ahead of Lamar?
I don't have anything different than what you're saying. I just believe in him, man. I think they're about the same. I do think the offense will have to produce more than Lamar's offense will. I think the defense, just like you pointed out, is going to be a lot worse. So, and not only a lot worse, like last year, they were among the league's worst in points allowed, allowing a lot of quick scores too through the secondary. You could really beat the Bengals how you wanted to last year. But that forced the offense into a lot of catch up. And yeah, Burrow and shootouts, that's a lot of fun because a lot of teams can't keep up with them defensively, right? They get a lineup against Jamar Chase and T. Higgins every week. It's not going to go well for you, especially with Burrow back there. So, but even when we saw Flacco throwing it, teams were still struggling to cover those two. So it's an offense that can succeed. I don't have a whole lot more to say. He doesn't have the rushing profile that these other quarterbacks do, but he doesn't need it because he's got to throw like 3 to 4 a game guaranteed, like touchdowns, bunch of yards to back it up. He's just the man. It's the bad defense that I think separates him.
Yeah.
But the lack of the rushing floor is what prevents him from
taking the top spot.
To me, being like Josh Allen, because I know that's coming.
Well, that's the preseason ranking for sure. Joe Burrow very easily could finish as the number 1 fantasy producer all the way around. He is that good.
He's still in best ball where he's going. He's going like pick 60.
Yeah, to your point on the rushing floor, in this top 10, it seems like we're pretty consistent that the only 3 that can do that is well, you got Stafford ranked a little lower than I do, but Joe Burrow, Dak, and Stafford are the only 3 that are going to finish that top without that rushing floor.
Yep.
We'll see how that turns out, but at least we're in somewhat agreement on that one.
Yep.
And number 2, I got your number 1, Josh Allen. That's an @ sign. That's not an @ Josh Allen. Josh Allen. That dude's really good at football, man.
He's pretty good.
Really, really, really good at football. And the only reason I don't have him at number 1 is because I don't believe in any of his receivers, but I do believe in Zay Flowers.
For Lamar?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that, to me, gives Lamar a bit of an edge. Plus, he runs better and typically more. And it's a lot more yards. I don't know if he'll get as many rushing touchdowns just because Josh Allen gets the short yardage situations and Lamar does all his work between the 20s. So we'll see how that balances out towards the end of the season. But I think that Lamar is going to have a ridiculously good season throwing the football as well as running it. Josh Allen very easily could surpass him, but I don't think he will. We'll see how it goes. That being said, it looks like you got the same top 3 that I do, which means that we do believe that overall they could be interchangeable with each other.
Yeah, we're all about the same on this. I really liked what you said about Josh Allen, like reconsidering it, like the lack of a guaranteed receiver, even though they just brought in DJ Moore and now Khalil Shakir. Shakir is properly the number 2 receiver on the team for once, which is great because no one else. Shakir has no business being their number 1 receiver. The break glass in case of emergency in the playoffs. The go-to guy for Josh Allen has been Shakir, and there's no reason that guy should be getting 12 targets a game. So they needed an answer. Is 29-year-old DJ Moore the answer, especially after showing the lack of effort he did with the Bears? The reason the Bears lost the playoff game is because Moore stopped running his route before the interception. People blame Caleb, but they don't see that DJ Moore just stopped running his route in the fucking playoffs. Like, what is that? I'm kind of personally hurt because I had a lot of DJ Moore last year. He's a player I believe in every year. He's like a brand guy for me, and he really disappointed me last year with his on-field effort, the lack thereof. That being said, I found out he's going back into an OC, an offensive coordinator that he worked with in Carolina in his peak days, which is
Oh
kind of
yeah,
why he was sought out so heavily by the Bills. Joe Brady worked with
I
him
should have
then,
brought
and
Curtis Samuel back for another year. Then let him
what
run
could
it
have
back.
been? I liked a lot of Curtis Samuel. What it could have been. Okay,
But
so Josh Allen. I again like with Mahomes, I'm thinking about maybe he does belong to like maybe even number 3, and I'm starting to balk because yeah, the rushing touchdowns are going to be there, I think, but
it's because
every
he gets
year
the
we've
short
seen
yardage
him.
rushing touchdowns. That's my thing.
Yeah.
Because
Well,
Lamar's
we've
going to
just
do
seen him
most
back
of his
off
work between the
usage
20s.
for Allen. They
Yeah.
every year they've tried to hide him a little more. When I say hide, I don't mean Josh Allen's a liability out there, but I do
No,
mean
no,
they've
no.
tried
But
to
you
take
are
the
right. They are
pressure.
trying to take the load off him in the regular season, so he's a bit fresher for the playoffs.
And James
That is
Cook
the
has
absolute
like
trend to
16 rushing
follow.
touchdowns because of it, right? And so I think
Yeah.
that does make him lose the edge. Whereas I think there's no such consideration for Lamar, especially at this point in his career. Like I kind of get the feeling with Lamar, like we need to go somewhere. You know, like can you stay healthy? Can you win this? Or like I've just seen them be the better team in the playoffs too many times to go back.
And
So
not get there. Yeah.
I just think they're going to go with the new coaching staff. I think the offense is going to be unchained. And I do like all of his receiving options much better than Josh Allen's. The only position I think that the Bills are better at receiver, like catching the football, is tight end. I think
Tight end.
Kincaid's probably
Yeah.
better than Andrews at this point. That might be
In
crazy to
their
say.
careers, yeah, absolutely. And with the loss
Yeah.
of Likely, there's not really a tight end two who can keep up with Knox because Knox, if he has to be the tight end one, can be. He's really that good. Just a little
Yeah,
older,
he's
a
more
little
than
slower.
serviceable for a tight end in the
Yeah,
NFL. Yeah.
agreed. But
So
overall,
Lamar,
I
you're
do think
incredibly
that
bullish on.
I mean, like I said, 1 through 3, you can probably just change them around. Really, 1 through 5, you could probably wind up changing them around at the end of the season, and it'll all look really, really similar. But I am more excited about Lamar because he has he has the most upside of any rushing quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah.
Maybe not named Jaden Daniels, depending on how that works out in Washington. Um, but I just like his weapons to be a little bit more consistent, and because the offense, like the running back situation, is well, maybe not a lot better. Actually, maybe not even better. It depends on how you feel about Derrick Henry versus James Cook right now. But Derrick Henry, to me, is still slightly better than James Cook at this point in their respective careers.
I think both of the offensive lines are top tier as well. Like the Bills' rushing unit in
Yeah,
particular, they've
like
got
I
two
said,
like
yeah, this is
350 pounders on the outside. So
it's just with like I said, 1 through 4, 1 through 5, we're kind of just splitting hairs, and this is the same on both lists. Like they could all potentially just be the QB1,
yeah.
especially on any given week. Like if you're looking at DFS, best ball, or anything like that, all of these
Well,
guys are fantastic
you know,
options to
these
have.
points about utilizing the running backs like more, particularly with the Bills and the Ravens, we can see both those offenses climb up any given week and just ride out Henry or Cook. The only
Yeah,
team that they can't happen with is Mr. Joseph Burrow. And now I'm like, am I really saying, if everyone is healthy the entire season, am I really saying Joe Burrow should be number one quarterback every year? I'm like, yeah,
if
if
yeah,
he stays
so
healthy.
so if
I
these
think I am
rankings
saying that. Like,
were quarterback play rather than fantasy football production, I would have Joe Burrow as my number one and Dak as my number two right now.
I think, yeah, if we're just talking about talent, yeah, Joe
Like
Burrow is the
well,
best
just
quarterback
being
playing right
able to
now.
play quarterback at the highest level. Like I
Yeah.
think right now it's Joe Burrow and Dak Prescott. Then you go Matt Stafford. Then you go
I think we're getting at the
probably
same thing, like as an
Josh
operator
Allen.
of the
Yeah,
offense,
but
but we're
that's
not necessarily talking about athletic body control
no, no, no.
performance
It's just
while
playing the
executing the task.
quarterback position. It's simply playing the quarterback. How your team needs you to play
Yeah.
quarterback. How well do you do that? And that's those are my rankings there. It's Joe Burrow,
Yeah.
Dak Prescott. Then you start to get into the Matt Stafford, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Trevor Lawrence.
I don't
that.
have Allen in the top 5 of that.
That's interesting. I don't think a lot of people would agree with you, but
I like in terms of running the offense or like being that sort of quarter. Like I think Joe
just
Burrow.
being the quarterback of his team, not being not a quarterback savant, not a pre-play this or that, or just the quarterback that his team needs him to be. Where does he rank among quarterbacks that their
See,
team needs him?
he still disappoints me enough in the biggest moments to where
Dude,
that's where I'm like, I think he just
but he still
falls out.
gets to the biggest moments.
Well, yeah, but we're talking about a team that like they could hand it off 20 times to James Cook and
I
that'll
guess
win
if
them the
we're
game.
yeah, if you're throwing the win factor, like the clutch win factor in, then I can't throw guys like Dak in there, and I have to throw somebody like Mahomes in there, even though
I
right now
don't
at this point in
I
his
think if
career,
Dak
it's
had
not.
any of the defenses of the if Dak was put as a quarterback of any of the Super Bowl winning teams of the last 5 years, yeah, he would have won them all
Yeah, but
without like
if grandma had a nutsack, she'd be grandpa. You know what I mean? Like it's if then you can't
you
really
don't need
talk
to
about
bring
that
up
in the
some very
past.
confusing childhood memories for us on air, okay? We have a lot to work through.
That's your issues. I'm well
I've already
adjusted
made
to
my
everything.
peace with grandma's transition.
I am well adjusted to everything that's happened in our lives. We're good over here. Now, you, on the other hand, good luck, buddy. You have so many repressed memories, you don't even know because you repressed them.
Sure, I'll get back to him sometime.
Hopefully, the play of Dak Prescott this year unlocks that for you. So, you know, that'll be great.
I'll
Dak will be
finally
great.
remember who I
Joe
am
Burrow would
because
be great. I don't know, man. Like I said, anywhere
putting
between
it
one
yeah.
and five on my list, and I assume you feel the same on yours, just because the names that you've got there, all interchangeable, all really good. You're not gonna miss if you get any of these guys,
Yep.
and especially on my list, you can get Dak Prescott and Trevor Lawrence pretty late. You could wind up getting QB1, total QB1 production in the 10th round. Well,
Trevor
eighth
Lawrence
round for
goes in the
Dak,
10th
10th
round
round.
of season long redraft.
What's up?
Trevor Lawrence goes in the 10th round of redraft, like
He
season
went
long.
pretty late. Yeah, and
Wow.
in all five of my lists, he went pretty late. I
Wow.
like to pull up my notes on him again. Oh, I think these are them. Let me check.
What are you doing with quarterback this year in redraft so far? Like, are you tempted to take any of these top guys, or are you just waiting? Because, like, so the question is kind of twofold there. Do you think that the top 3 dramatically outperform the next 10 relative to the position? And are you hurting
Um,
yourself by not taking a receiver or a running back instead of Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Lamar? And the same question goes for redraft and best ball. It's a decision there too.
so the thing is with Josh Allen and Lamar, I'm noticing outside of one outlier, they're going anywhere between the third and the fifth round.
Yep.
Josh Allen pretty consistently went in the third round, but it was just about where they took him. Look, the amount of production he's going to give you, yeah, go ahead and take him if you like him. But if there's any receiver or running back that you like better, you take them.
Yep.
But if Josh Allen's your guy and you want him on your team and you think he's going to win you a chip, then you go get your man's. It's my
Straight
advice
best
to
ball
every woman watching
perspective.
this stream too. You go
Yep.
get your man's or your woman's or your they them's or whoever you want. You go get them.
Yeah. So zooming in on Josh Allen from the best ball perspective, week
He's
17
awesome.
matchup against the Dolphins, you kind of don't like that because that's a game I could see them just having the Ray
The bench
Davis
players are
run
running.
2
Yeah.
touchdowns in and win. So end of the season outlook not too great there. Plus, like they could just climb up on the run game throughout the regular season. Not a great outlook. The most condemning factor from them in best ball is, of course, his ADP. It's going like pick 30, pick 28. You got to take him before running backs like ETN. You got to take him around receivers like AJ Brown, Nico Collins, and then all the killers like that come after, like Zay Flowers, T Higgins, dudes who can absolutely win you a league at receiver. I can't justify paying Josh Allen prices there, knowing his playoff matches
Right.
and knowing what it's costing me at receiver and running back. When if I wait literally 7-8 rounds, I've got Dak Prescott, Patrick Mahomes back there, Matthew Stafford back
Wholeheartedly
there.
agree. Yeah.
And if I do
Wholeheartedly
the
agree.
2v2 of, okay, so I took Josh Allen in a 10th round running back, like Kenny Gainwell or so any of those guys, Jordan Mason, all those dudes. So take Josh Allen in that, or if I could have had ETN plus Stafford or ETN plus or HN plus Dak, I'm just going to take that combo instead. So I'm waiting at quarterback in best ball. I'll probably do the same in redraft because streaming, I think I can get away with it this year. I see no reason you got to take elite quarterback.
I think there's going to be really high quarterback play depending. Well, it depends on how deep your league is the whole issue here.
Yeah. And
If
again, like
you're in
Josh
a
Allen
10
in
team
the
league,
third
you'll
round.
be fine to stream. If you're in a 12 team league, you got to get a QB2 and you got to get a solid QB1.
Yeah. Josh Allen in best ball in the third round is way different though than Burrow and Jackson in the 5th and 6th rounds respectively.
So
So
that's
I,
the thing that's kind
I
of
take a lot
driving
of
me
those guys.
crazy is Josh Allen's going in the third, Burrow's going in the 5th and 6th, Lamar's
Yeah.
going in the
5th.
anywhere between the 3rd and the 5th.
Yep.
Dak's going in the 7th and 8th. Mahomes is going in like the 9th.
Yeah, so I don't take any Allen, but I take a lot of all those other guys.
It's hard to justify drafting a quarterback in the 3rd round, but when the name you're drafting is
Crazy.
Josh Allen, I guess it's a little more forgivable.
Yeah. We used to say the same thing about Mahomes. He used to go 2nd, 3rd round every year.
Well, yeah, but that was because he had the name. I was never doing that. That was nonsense.
Yeah.
Like you were going to get Aaron Rodgers in the 5th. You wanted to draft Mahomes in the 1st and 2nd. I don't like that. That's bad football.
Yep.
Even better, that's bad fantasy football, which is why I won the league consistently because we were people who did that dumb shit. And I'm pretty good at this. As far as these QB rankings go, it seems like we do have a little bit of work on the back end to reach. I mean, we're not going to reach a consensus really ever because it's just hard to with
I think
this
I'm
model
also
of
more
nonsense we've
influenced
got
by
going on in the
the
middle.
broader market, like trusting that I'm wrong a lot more often. Whereas you just kind of like, I like these guys or I like these guys. That's where they're going to be. So
It's just where
that's
I feel
another
like they're
reason.
going to end up their season. You know, like
Yeah.
I don't know what the roadmap is going to look like. It could look like a few, like 3 50-point games and then 2 5-point games for Lamar Jackson. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think it'll overall pan out to where it's going to be Lamar Jackson will be the #1 fantasy performer on this season.
That's
But
a
on a
good point with
week-to-week
Lamar.
basis, what's that?
I said that's a good point with Lamar, and I think you might be able to say the same thing about Josh Allen for the same reason. It's that
And
both
Dak
those teams.
Prescott and Joe Burrow, especially because Joe Burrow has the offensive line issues. But this is
Yeah.
seriously like the roadmap could look so different for all of these guys. It could look like just 20 points a week for 17 games, and that's phenomenal. Or it could look like 30 points a week every other week and 15 here and there. But
Yep.
I don't, again, I don't know what the roadmap is going to look like, which is why I'm talking about these quarterbacks being interchangeable because it's really more about who you like on a week-to-week basis, especially if we're talking about things like DFS, which we will later on in the off season, getting more towards the regular season. DFS, it's going to be about your price points, which quarterback is cheaper, which quarterback stacks well with your team, stuff like that. So the rankings will change a lot around that time. But for now, I think these are pretty solid on both ends. We disagree with a lot between 16 and 32, but when we're talking about 16 through 32, we're talking about a difference in maybe 40 to 70 points on the end of the season. So those are
Yeah, I
definitely
wouldn't minimize how important your opinions are in the 16 to 32 range. Because like I'm saying, you've got such different takes here that if you go through with this, right, and you're generally fading the Vikings, that saves you from a lot of Justin Jefferson shares in the first round. Same goes for same thing goes for like the dart throws on Jackson Dart and these other quarterbacks down here. But you're basically avoiding a lot of the players that people would consider very important, like the whole Saints bit with Tyler Shubb back here. Whereas, like I said, I think mine reflect more, where the market's at, generally speaking. There's not a whole lot of variation from the biggest player takes out there. I
Right.
think I'm a little lower on. No, I mean this all about where ADP has them in best ball. But yeah, so I think you could use yours to make a lot of money, and I think mine will be safer for the most part based off of what most people are saying. But yours are way different, especially in that back half. What we got to do with this go next is the tiers. Like after we do these overall rankings, we got to come up with
Agreed. Yeah,
tiers.
yeah. Because that's really the important thing. We've been talking about it between this stream and last stream, with the groupings being so interchangeable: 1 through 5, 5 through or 6 through 9, 10 through 15, 15 through or 16 through 20, so on and
Yep.
so forth. There are groups of these quarterbacks that if you have to draft them early in the draft with these three in particular, you're going to be okay with that. In the middle rounds, if you end up with any of these guys, you're going to love that. And then if you get more towards the later middle rounds and you end up with this grouping of guys, it's going to
Yep.
be fantastic too.
Yep.
So it depends on your draft strategy, what you're looking at, but this is just the ability to be able to kind of see where uh, two opposite thinking fantasy football minds landed on quarterback rankings for now.
Yep.
Then we'll get into tight ends, kickers, receivers, and running backs for you guys in a few. Well, this will probably take 2 to 3 weeks overall to get through all of these,
Yep.
which is good.
I gotta try and
And
land on a two stream a week cadence with you though. Probably not as long as this one ended up last Friday night, so fuck it. But like maybe Saturday or Sunday night.
all right, hang on.
Probably Sunday night.
Before we get into that, let's do the sign off and then end the recording because we're done with rankings and stuff, right?
Oh yeah, but it's I don't mind having this conversation on stream either because it gives the anyone watching like a preview of what we might put out. But yeah, I
Gotcha.
think 1 to 2
All
streams
right.
a week. But yeah, we'll discuss specifics later.
So at the very least, we'll do an outro. So for our rankings episode, that was what Goo and Troy believe is going down. So we got a little bit more coming ahead as far as tight ends, kickers, receivers, quarterbacks, or rather running backs, my bad.
Yep.
And then I'll probably do a solo episode for defenses and special teams since that has nothing to do with any of the money-making stuff.
Yep.
Unless you bet in your fantasy leagues.
Well, we could talk about the defensive implications for the offense. So basically, we're just saying generally.
Yeah, but that'll kind of like that'll. I don't know. I feel like it'd be a waste of a dual stream to be honest, because it doesn't do anything for any of the money making leagues. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But if you're doing season long fantasies for redrafts, you probably care a lot about your defensive production.
Yep.
But yeah, if we want to do that together, then we want to do that together. But I figured that because it didn't have a lot to do with
best ball or any of the formats I typically play.
Yeah,
I know enough about.
I didn't know if you'd have a rankings ready for him, to be honest.
No, not the same way I could spout off like a top 40 with running backs or something. But I know enough of the team's futures where I think I have something to contribute to the conversation. That being said, run the solo stream, man. You have so much more time than I do to get some content out there. I feel like our channel and our content is hamstrung because I can't go often enough. So if you got opinions on topics, just start going for it, man. I think people want to see it. Yeah.
All right. Well, for the quarterback rankings, that's Troy and Goo's belief on who's going to finish where at the end of the season, and a little bit of our thoughts on who's going to finish where on a week-to-week basis.
Yep.